Just hit record. Hi, Marcelo. Nope,
We can't hear you yet.
he's got no microphone.
Not yet.
You don't have a microphone active.
Oh, he's still connecting in the first place.
Not connect to audio.
Oh.
It's like when I watch like 60-something-year-olds trying to do this and they're like really struggling. It's like that, but more embarrassing.
What?
Oh wait, did you not hear what I said?
There we
I
go.
heard the end.
How you doing?
I heard the end of it. You you scumbags. What's up? What's new, Scooby Doo?
How you doing? I like your red background.
Yeah, Rakeem, I was gonna comment. You didn't do a gravity chamber background, which I'm very
I
disappointed.
I I didn't have time.
There was just no time.
I was gonna look for one and do the whole shebang. But I was like, on the next one. On the next exciting episode.
No, this is the background you need to do on like our final one before we
I
get
know,
to
right?
episode 67.
I jumped the gun.
Well, shoot, I'm glad it works. Uh, I want to hang on. I want to try because I couldn't find a webcam, so I'm using my laptop. So I have this weird jerry rig setup for my main computer because I got two computers running right now.
You should be able to join from both.
hmm
Well, you're the expert. See, hello,
Hello.
join
Hey,
with.
Arm.
Got it. This is being recorded. Oh my god.
hmm
How do I?
I realized that the entire time that we were making fun of you, it wasn't recording, so I started it right after you joined.
Phew! Go to share screen. So
There it is.
can you hear the audio on it? Like if I played this, can you hear whatever this is?
No, because you have to share the computer audio.
Okay. Could you hear that?
Yeah.
The
Rakeem, you
the
could
Kyle Abert narrated.
Yeah, I heard that perfectly.
That's Gohan. So for a lot of these Namek Saga episodes, weirdly enough, for like half the fake Namek Saga episodes, I barely have to do anything. All I have to do is go to the center channel, and then I get the isolated audio all by myself. But
Really?
yeah, for a couple of them, like I think the first and second Space Kids episode, all I had to do was just isolate the center channel. But for all the other ones, I have to go into Audacity and manually erase these, and then like erase the Japanese music, which isn't hard. It's just an extra step. That's all.
Wait, so
Mm.
these alone are mixed like Boo?
No. Well, yeah, a couple episodes, like three or four.
Yeah, like that, like randomly 3 or 4 in the middle of this are Boo, and then everything else is the normal. You have to invert.
Yes,
Yeah, that's really funny.
it,
That's
it's
strange.
incredibly inconsistent.
I don't know why. I mean, the
Uh,
Frieza saga is horrible. It's a disaster, but still.
yeah,
I don't get how though.
every episode is something different. And I remember one of the worst ones in particular. I mean, it wasn't like I figured out a solution to it pretty quick, but I've never seen it in any other episode. I think it was episode like 101, or 103, Frieza defeated, and the volume of the Japanese music kept changing throughout that. Like it progressively got louder throughout the episode. So like when I had like a set volume to cancel it out, like at the beginning, all of a sudden I noticed like later on in the episodes, like 5 minutes later, I'm like, I can still hear the Japanese music. That's weird. And so I readjusted it. It canceled out, and then like 5 minutes later down the episode, I was like, I can hear it again. What the hell? So that was one of the most bizarre cases. Every episode's different and every episode's random, which is why I get annoyed when people say like, "What's the secret? What's the secret to ripping?" And I'm like, there is no secret. Every episode's inconsistent and
Bang
different.
your
And
head against Audacity for 2 hours and hope.
yes, that's the secret. Audacity and a little elbow grease, as I put it.
Hard work, blood, sweat, and tears.
Damn right. So in the past like 48 hours, I like bum rushed like the rest of the Fake Namek episodes all the way up to 44. I barely touched 44, only like a couple spots where I'm like, I know this is gonna work here, 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 here. And then I left like the rest blank. I didn't even write any cards for any of these episodes yet. But they're pretty, especially like the middle episode. It's called the it's such a boring episode. It's called The Search Continues. And
The title's boring.
and it makes me laugh once I noticed it. It's they cared so little. Right before the title card drops, the narrator's like, "The search continues today," and then the title's "The Search Continues." And it's like that's all we got. That's it. The
But that's
Japanese
what
title
happens when you don't have anything to.
going on.
Yeah, when you
The
catch up with the story, it's over.
Is 43 the one with Vegeta and Kui?
A friendly surprise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's actually a pretty good episode. I mean, the first half is kind of boring because it's more they're like in a snow world and they're trying to avoid a giant snowball. But I really like the way I edited that though. They used a couple familiar tracks that I think you'll be pleased. But after that first half, the episode's like good because it's intercut with like canon Vegeta scenes that are actually like really good and pretty. I personally like the animation style too.
Mhm.
And it's a good episode. The second half is fine. It's just interspersed with interesting Vegeta scenes. Even the Goku like scenes are I find boring because Goku sneaks out of the hospital and starts training in the wilderness for no reason, and they're utterly pointless scenes, and they're not even like interesting. Like Goku doesn't even learn anything new because I don't know. It's pointless. It's like it's just like everything else on Fake Namek.
Like I said, they had to do something to fill up that space. Something.
I mean, it would have ruined the surprise, but it would have been more fun to like see Tien, Yamcha, Chaozu, and Piccolo on Snake Way, but that would have completely ruined the surprise
Mhm.
later. So I'm glad they didn't do that, but that would have been more interesting at least if we're gonna get
Their
something
filler
at all.
episode, yeah, their filler episode is actually halfway decent. 17, like
I
that
don't know.
was.
I find it kind of boring because
I
I
like that.
rewatched the Namek saga while I was deployed, and like that episode is just defying gravity and Goku's ancestors all over again. Like it's not even anything like surprising or different or new. It's just like here's the same thing again. You've seen it, but here it is again, and we didn't do anything interesting or different with it.
Wait, which one are you talking about?
Piccolo versus everyone
No,
is the
I was
name.
talking about 17. Like I was talking about they go back into the past and fight the Saiyans.
Oh, the
Tien.
actual
Oh,
episode
Yeah.
17?
that's
No, yeah.
different. I thought you were
No.
looking at King
The one
Kai's.
with on King Kai's planet sucks, but the one with from 17 I really like, and I think there was a lot more they could have done with that group for a filler Namek scene. Even put them in hell for an episode and see what they do to costume that.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. I'd love to watch that.
Fun.
It's like I said, there's some fun ideas that they could have done there. And like I said, unlike Rakim, I personally don't mind the Ginyu Force being at King Kai's. Like as far as filler goes, at least it's kind of interesting.
Wait, hold on. Not that I don't like them there. I'm
You said
fine
you
with
hated
that.
that.
No, wait. Only because they lose.
Only because they
Horribly.
lose.
Right, the
Like
Ginyu
if they
Force-
won and they started like destroying everything, and then King Kai beat them, I'd be like, okay.
That actually would have been
King
kind of cool.
Kai-
King Kai just randomly
I get
busted
it.
out of like a spirit bomb and blasts all of them away. He's like,
I
"Hey, you
get
guys
it.
suck. Come on."
See King Kai do anything.
But them, Krillin,
Well, the
Vegeta,
whole-
and Gohan just got blasted by
I mean, the
Raccoon.
whole point is
Raccoon.
they got stronger, you know.
Raccoon by himself.
Yeah.
There were 4 squad mates on King Kai's planet.
Well, there's no Captain Ginyu. All right, I'll say if Captain Ginyu was there, he would have mopped the floor with him.
I don't even know about that.
You know what? You know what my favorite lasting legacy piece of music from the whole Ginyu Force on King Kai's episodes are? It's a short little cue when Chaozu hits Goldo, and it's one of my favorite little comedy cues in the whole show. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Play it.
Me, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I can't remember
Lucy knows
what
exactly.
happens there.
There's only like 2 other instances in the whole show I can remember it playing. When Marin leaves, and then Master Roshi has she's like, I wish I was one of Marin's boyfriends. And then it plays again when they discover the old time machine, and then Bulma gets scared by a couple squirrels. I love that cue. It perfectly uses the Roland horn comedically. Also, I tested it out too. In episode 37 for a red card Joe picked up. I actually was going to message you about it, but then I don't know. I didn't think it was too important. It might be just better off if you write a red card, but it does fit when the nurse says next patient please, and then Krillin and Gohan run off. And if you insert that there, the horn does kind of like help blend into the next track. You know what I mean? But it's a good little cue.
Is it just a horn?
No, it's
Wait.
like it goes.
I'll have to do this.
That was actually really accurate.
Of course it is. I have laser focus for the music, and I like when Chaozu hits him. There's like a high little liquid stack mixed in there too. It's great. Yeah, I love that. It's one of my favorite little comedy cues. I want to use it somewhere. I'll find a place
I'm sure we can use it.
as I try and gradually use more early music. But that's the thing. Is I must insist that we remake more of the original music, because as much as we've ripped over the years, our library of the early Namek music is extremely limited.
Yeah, that's why I've been trying to focus a lot on that stuff for the clean cuts things. I figured that was the most I could contribute over the last couple months, was making as many as possible. Even something like Disquiet, that was shockingly hard to put together because there was no 2 rips that were exactly the same.
I know, so it's so annoying too, and it's just like low Henya, and it's like there's no percussion to be a roadmap for how you stitch this thing together.
Yeah, Bulma's theme's annoying. That one's hard to put together, and it shouldn't be.
Didn't you initially got Disquiet and Gohan and Krillin's mission mixed up because it's kind of like sort of the same?
Yeah,
like Henya, we're filling up time. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, but I actually kind of like Gohan and Krillin's mission though, because
I love that track.
Yeah, it's subtle, like dun 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 dun, kind of like building up anticipation.
And then it ends with the DBZ theme too, which is awesome.
Yeah, we should do something like that. I mean, or I don't know. I don't know when else that plays besides when Krillin's trying to evade second form Frieza.
I can tell you right now.
Like does it ever play the DBZ section?
No.
Didn't think so.
Yeah, it's not in a final attack. The last instance of it ever being used is in a final attack. So if it's not...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it does.
Yep. Does it play it there?
It doesn't play the DBZ part.
That's what I meant. Yeah, no. The track is there, right, but not the DBZ part. Because I know the DBZ part needs to be remade, and I think that's Fat Midi, if I'm not mistaken.
Fat Midi?
The thing that Rakim recorded a half hour for me for. He recorded every single note at 4 different velocities for me, Rakim.
Wait, what happened?
No, I said the DBZ theme at the very end of what I call Gohan and Krillin's mission. It's like at the end of Ginyu Assault. That I think I have to double check it, but I think it's Fat Midi with the afterburner instead of Z guitar. And I just said that's the thing you recorded a half hour for me. 500 meg file of every possible sample. It's like the dumbest file, but it's so useful.
Straight through recording. I pressed start and I left it, and I came back and I was like, okay, cool, still going. Gotcha.
It worked.
Hold on, you guys. I was looking at the scene. So 1 second.
See, Chaozu, if you put your mind to it, you can do anything. Final attack. I hate that episode title so much. A final attack. Like, come on, we're still 15 episodes away from the final attack.
It's not 15, it's 11. I think it's 9, right? Because that's episode 98. Yeah.
Wait, real quick.
ridiculous.
Is this in Transformed at last?
Yeah.
What?
What minute?
Oh, you talking about Chaozu?
Yeah.
No, it's in episode 90. 3.
What was that?
Hold on a second.
Oh wait, yeah, you might be right. It is. It's in
Okay.
the.
I was on Transformed at last because I
No,
assumed.
No, you. Joe's right. I got it confused because it's a similar animation style too.
it was in 94. Yeah, that's where the game.
Guys are awesome fighters. King Kong.
Right here, yeah. I love this little track.
Guys.
But here goes nothing.
You see, Chaozu, if you put your mind to something, you always come out on top.
It fits.
Very underutilized little cue. I think it's my favorite thing to ever come from the Ginyu Force at King Kai's. Of all the music written for it.
Interesting. I like that first track when they first the thing.
When they first
Big
start
to
fighting.
small. They jump into formation.
Oh, the very simple to. I'm pretty sure Scott wrote that.
I think it was, yeah.
All of us together are the one and only Ginyu Force.
I think did that inspire your King Kai horns, Joe, for episode 19?
Broadly speaking, the King Kai horns, yeah, so they're inspired by the fact that there's a lot of horn use in these episodes. Plus, I was going for the jazzy feel.
Oh yeah.
A lot of inspiration from Cuphead.
Cuphead's a great inspiration. I'm very proud. Yeah, look at all these. Look, this is me being busy the past several days.
Amazing.
Even like liftoff preparations. Like, look at this shit. I was back in full swing the past week and a half.
We see that.
But all this is just different instances of the track like stitched together from like different bits. Yeah, and then I highlight the parts that unfortunately could not nail and will need to be remade. I mean, really, like, for the sake of the project, the only part that really needs to be remade is this right here. The part that really connects the majority of it and the final horns.
Yeah, but it'd be good to have the Earth music part too from the beginning.
Yeah, because unfortunately, like, yeah, this part isn't anywhere else in the show. And then you'll have to kind of make a custom ending that isn't a comedy sting. Because they do, in fact, have a triumphant landing on Namek in episode 44. And yes, this will play when they land on Namek. You'll see, it works. You gotta trust me.
We do.
I don't, but it's fine.
You never did.
Oh yeah, you gotta remake that too, sorry.
Oh, wait, can you play it again? I did listen to it on my computer, but is that the sound? Is that a sound effect, or is that what you call it from the Alesis?
No, that's the sound effect. That's the engine in the show.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, like if you listen to the actual episode undoctored audio.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what you're hearing. Just
I thought we
muffled.
were adding something.
It's just muffled. But really, the only parts you have to remake are these two sections. Honestly, for the sake of the project, for the sake of a clean cut, if you want this beautiful, pristine track for all time to appreciate, you got to remake all of it.
I mean, that's probably my next project because it's not that hard. I know what the drums are, and a lot of it's just a particular Roland horn, and I think a lot of wind work.
I was very pleased I was able to capture this part. If you could tell me what episode I got that from, I'll give you a cookie.
Go ahead, Rakeem.
You're gonna have to go back for that. Wait, does it have the sound effect in there too? From the episode?
No.
Oh.
Because this was a rippable episode.
Oh.
Either Seas with Fear or what's 145? Laboratory Basement. Or it could be A Girl Named Lime. Wasn't that in there too at some point?
It was, but not that part.
No.
How's this? Bulma's theme plays next.
Oh, it's the Goku special technique.
Yeah, there you go. He's got it. Look at the great general rallying the troops. You look more like a cheerleader.
Yeah. I couldn't remember the name of it, if it was 123 or 122. I forgot when Goku arrived.
If you say the episode name, I think I'll allow it. I'll accept that answer as well.
Peak nerddom here. Come on.
You know those numbers.
Yeah, because I remember when I first heard that from that episode, I was like, "What the hell is that from?" I'm like, that wasn't written for that, was it? Because that episode has like a weird amount of there's a large section around that part that is just written to scene, and it's just like random little jazzy plucks for Krillin talking to Bulma
Krillin with the glasses, right?
Yeah, and it's just like large sections is just like written to scene because I guess they couldn't come up with anything else. And it works.
It also reused Badman, which
yes.
I think is the only other got reused.
I like Badman. That's a fun little track. I rewatched the Westwood version of that episode, and Terry Klassen just absolutely nails the delivery of one of my favorite lines when Gohan's like, "I get it, Krillin. You just don't want to get beat up." And then Krillin with his sunglasses on, he's like, "Cool it, kid. You're cramping my style." And the way Terry Klassen delivers it as Krillin is so fucking hilarious because he's like, "Hey, quiet, kid. You're cramping my style." He sounds like he's legitimately telling this kid to buzz off. I'd say Scott McNeil's Piccolo, Brian Drummond's Vegeta, and Terry Klassen's Krillin are the three most solid performances in the Westwood dub. Real professionals. So you guys want to see some of the Namek saga that I kind of stitched together? Look out below is pretty barren actually. This one's going to need a lot of red cards, honestly, I think. Well, I want to hold off until you guys write some new music for the space episodes. But as you can see, it's really in its early phases. You got the recap, you got like the first scene, and then you got like a 8-minute stretch where I just haven't put anything down.
Excuse me, the radar! It says the Dragon Ball is right below us!
No problem. Wukong, start your descent
Oh, yeah.
right now.
It's gonna take a miracle to get the ship fully repaired.
I'm actually pretty proud of the way this one came out. This one came out perfectly. I didn't edit the tempo. I didn't cut it anywhere, but check out how the second half of this scene works. So obviously they're searching for the Dragon Ball here, etc. And then there's like a second half where Krillin talks to him for a minute and then they go diving for a second look. And then this
I really have nothing
this plays perfectly. Watch how it matches the scene too.
better to do now anyway.
Well, thank you. Back on Earth, we're having a bit of a crisis without the Dragon Balls in our possession. But you already know that, right?
Sorry.
That way!
That's on the right frame.
You find it?
We're having trouble holding our breath long enough.
It's not easy. The river is really deep.
Well, the Dragon Radar has never given a false reading yet. Hey, where's Rady?
Yeah.
I love it. Amazing.
The whole scene, like that's it.
That was right on beat.
I know. I didn't edit. Look at that on the timeline. I only cut it at the very end to get to that little shine at the end quicker. That's it. So that scene's done. So this is a fairly important theme. Vegeta is going to have his own capsule theme, which obviously use the same computer noises used for the healing capsule theme for Goku, but try and make it sound evil. The funny thing is, almost all the scenes Vegeta's in a healing capsule for are clocked roughly around 1 minute. So you just write like a simple theme that's 1 minute long, and it's like gonna fit in every, because it's the same scene every time, like 1 minute scene. Even when he's on Namek in the healing capsule, there's 2 different spots where a 1 minute Vegeta in the healing capsule theme would fit perfectly. So that's pretty easy, like lay that out for. But that's not till episode 42, so don't call dibs on it just yet.
Dibs.
That seems like something Rakeem would like, because I know you like that computer sound, Rakeem.
One of my favorites.
I feel like I know a lot of your favorite sounds, except for the subtle one that I still don't know that you put into the Namek flying theme.
Don't worry about it.
You're like, this sound is for Rakeem.
It's not. It wasn't. This part wasn't for the people. It was for me when I listened to it.
It was for Rakeem. Yeah.
I'd put you on that.
We'll fix that later.
Can you get rid of that?
I don't get it. I'm much stronger.
Get rid of what?
The sound, the reverberation on Krillin's voice.
I can't. No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think you can. I tried it because that's a Ginyu episode too. I have a lot of plans to do that one after I finish like the current batch of episodes I'm working on for 36 through 39, whatever, 40. But that specifically, I had a lot of it done back in May because I was trying to recreate. Remember we did something really similar for like 32 or 3 or something?
Oh yeah, out of Saiyan Rampage.
Yeah, so I actually recreated a lot of that, and then I had to change it for that particular thing. So I just did a new project file, like a save as type of thing. But I have a lot of that done, so that's going to be a pretty quick and easy original flashback track.
I thought it might be because it's what, like some strings and piz plucks.
Yeah, it's Marcato strings, piz plucks, and the drums. But it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I was hoping it would be. But yeah, I think it'll really work here. The flashback theme.
Yeah.
Stronger than him in battle, yet I'm the one taking on all the damage. It's as if his power has increased tenfold.
What are you doing? You almost hit me!
Ouch, that hurt!
Why can't you just lay there and sleep like a normal patient? You're bothering everyone!
Because I'm not a normal patient. I'm a fighter. I need to get out of this place.
Oh, Goku, stop talking like such a tough guy. You're injured and the only way you're gonna get better is if you just lay here and stay quiet.
Is that gonna be for me?
Goku, do you really think you'll be able to fit into this?
I could at least try.
Yeah. You know, I might re-edit that a little bit just to sound a bit cleaner, but you know.
I have no better ideas for that scene.
Yeah, it's you know. Oh, I definitely want to turn this one into a red card because I want like a mysterious kind of mystical version of the Fake Namek theme, which is of course the Arlian theme, but having like a mystical, mysterious version could really work in episode 44 after everything's already revealed.
This one I do want to call because I actually have a real specific idea of sounds for that. Like I know exactly what I want to use.
Okay.
JV 1080.
Lord knows there's plenty of room on Fake Namek for you guys to write, as long as there is cohesion and it all follows that Arlian theme motif.
Go ahead and take that one, Joe.
I guess you can have the one that the one that's actually Vegeta. I'll take the one that nobody's gonna remember we did.
Isn't that what you did throughout all the filler saga? It's such a shame that this is such a beautifully animated episode is wasted on this.
Mm-hmm.
Who aren't we?
I don't remember. What is this?
On here.
Oh, yeah, no, this isn't staying. I was just playing around with this. I keep trying to find a place for that, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna find a place for it.
It wasn't meant to be.
It's such a great little cue though. Like it's such a perfect ending to that track. And I'm glad I used it once for Yajirobe at least.
I would say you got to keep that part, that ending. Even if you make something different to lead into it, that ending has to stay. That's so good. Like you could build up with like strings or something to get to that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was hilarious.
The xylophone, you can't beat that little.
Yeah, that's perfect. But I feel like it might be simpler, and I'll just write a red card for it. Don't worry.
I guess that's easier, actually.
I'm happy with how this scene came out because it's just like a simple dumb scene where they chase after a dinosaur. But there's still just so much in the scene there's so much to fill, and I don't know what to put. So, but I like the way this little bit came out where they have the Dragon Ball here and the dinosaur eats it.
Can I have that, please? Wait! Come back! Give me back that Dragon Ball!
It can't understand a word you're saying! Wait, stop!
What are you doing?
We mustn't go any further into the forest.
We have to hurry! He's getting away! Why did you stop me? We lost him!
It's much too dangerous to go on foot from here.
And then I'm like, oh, hell, what do I put after this? I don't know.
How much longer does that go? That whole like span?
A long time. Who wants a 6-minute red card?
That's crazy.
I don't know. I'll figure something out though, just because I'm trying to fill up as much as I can, and then even if like we don't like what I fill it up with, we can always change it later. But it's good to have a base foundation for such a boring episode. Like I feel like I haven't had this problem since like episode Dueling Piccolos, because Dueling Piccolos I was like I didn't touch that episode for weeks because I was like, what the hell do I put here? Nothing happens in this episode.
That's one of the filler.
And in the end, it came out really nice.
You can make that work. You can definitely make any of these work.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I know we're gonna put together something really good in the end. You guys already saw
the water
this.
was going to be.
Oops.
That was easier than I thought. All right, pull me up, Brady. Oh no, the rope! I'm gonna have to hurry. I'm running out of time. It's gonna eat right through the suit. I can't hold on any longer. Flashing attack!
Such a beautiful use of Zalphus at the end there. Boom, doom, 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 doom. Yeah, we'll do a little bit with the DBZ theme because then the episode is over like 10 seconds after that. Like the episode like almost doesn't end. It stops. It's like we crammed as much as we could.
You're squeezing too hard.
Though they have found 3 of the 7 Dragon Balls, each one has been more difficult to retrieve. And far away, Vegeta slowly awakens from his recuperating slumber. Will revenge be on his mind? Find out on the next Dragon Ball Z!
Yeah, you've heard how every episode
You put the healing chamber sound.
I was thinking that. I thought about that, throwing it as an embellishment.
Mm-hmm.
On the cut to Vegeta, you put the healing chamber sound.
I'm open to it, but I'm on the fence.
I mean, we should just hear it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But it's worth a try.
I mean, easy to take
No,
out.
nothing is worth a try. No experimentation. Oh, I thought you might like this too. Wait.
Last time on Dragon Ball Z,
Joe will like
Gohan,
this.
Bulma,
No.
and Krillin were on their way to planet Namek when they were taken hostage by a militant group of refugees. These heavily armed soldiers believed our three heroes to be allies of Frieza, who had recently destroyed their home planet. After a few tense moments, the case of mistaken identity was cleared, and the leader of the group told the horrifying tale of his planet's destruction. Frieza's henchmen had descended upon his world and destroyed everything in their path. They were cruel and merciless, with a power even more terrible than that of the Saiyans.
Perfect edit.
But as awful.
Yep. I had to use the Blade Runner there. There's another episode that I remember I took a note of, but we haven't gotten to it yet. It's in the actual Namek saga, where Blade Runner lands perfectly on Frieza. It's always around the 40-second mark, give or take a couple seconds, depending on your tempo. But yeah, always try and check for that 40-second mark to see if a Blade Runner cue will work. What was this? I use this one a lot for outer space explorers. Just a couple wild and crazy space
We're about
explorers.
to start our descent. Strap yourselves in nice and tight. It's gonna be a rough landing.
Right.
Brace yourselves. It looks like we've got a rough ride ahead of us. We made it, and it won.
Ta-da! So, do you guys have any ideas for this episode? I know it's pretty boring. A fake Namek theme will be needed somewhere around this part, but there is room for, actual Dragon Ball hunting music that could actually find its way to Namek. I know it's not the most interesting episode, but if you have any fun ideas that you want to roll with, shout them out. I don't know.
Do they fly a lot? I forget. In that spaceship thing.
In the Wukong?
Yeah, the Wukong.
Yeah, that's a fun little reference. I don't know
Sun
if you're
Wukong.
aware of that, Rakeem.
Sun Wukong?
Yeah.
Sun Wukong.
Yeah.
Well, in the Japanese version, he calls it a Goku, and they're all a little puzzled by that statement, which is an illusion that they read their mind, and then they're just like naming shit after stuff that they know in their head. It's actually kind of a clever little tease that is lost in translation.
No, it's a good translation. You know what it is, right, Wukong?
Yeah, the Monkey King. Goku.
Yeah.
I know. And
Well, Goku was like made after, or
No, yeah, it's from Journey to the West.
yeah.
yeah,
Well, the name, the character in Journey to the West, the original Chinese novel is Wukong.
Yeah. But I don't know. I thought that was a fun little reference. But it's a little lost in translation in the English dub. But in the Japanese version, I think that kind of helps imply that, they read their mind and they said, like, oh, Goku. Because I think he calls it his precious little Goku or something. Or my...
Oh, I
something
see
that,
what you're saying.
Something that Bulma would call Goku,
Right, the implication they're able to read their minds is lost.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not a big deal, but that was something I noticed in the Japanese versions.
Yeah, the English joke is a little bit more clever in that sense because it's like a deep cut reference that only a handful of people will get.
Exactly. It's only something you'd notice if you're watching with subtitles like I did. Kind of a boring episode, but we got to get through it. I think I did a better job filling in the gaps with some of the other episodes.
Well, you'll have a lot more for the next few, the pre-Fake Namek arc stuff too that you might be able to put in there.
Oh yeah, I thought about it and I've asked before, but like I definitely think we should try to avoid using Namek associated instruments while on Fake Namek. No Dreamscape, no High Gliz, no Pizplux. I think Kenya is okay if you want to use that. It's not the most Namek sound ever. The point is distance musically from Namek. Don't make it sound like it's on Namek.
Yeah.
Stick with the Arlean melody. Make it sound friendly in the cases where it needs to sound friendly. Make it sound mysterious where it needs to sound mysterious. Stick with that leitmotif.
And there are plenty of sounds that are like distinctly I mean, obviously the entire release is distinctly DBZ, but there are plenty of sounds that don't need to be Namek's really associated with Namek. Like Dewdrops is a good example. You could easily fit that in that type of theme.
Oh yeah, I feel I know it's not a strictly Namek sound, but I personally think it's pretty Namek. Amakadari, don't use that. Absolutely do not use that on Fake Namek.
Yes, that makes sense.
Don't use that on Fake Namek.
Nope. I was saving that one for Namek. I'm saving a bunch for Namek.
Oh yeah. I mean, get creative. There's a giant library of sounds you can use, you know? Even if it doesn't sound the most DBZ, like we'll figure that out in editing, you know what I mean?
You know what I think works with that? It's a combination of two things. Obviously, the one answer is always, well, if you just throw space voices in there, it sounds very DBZ no matter what you do.
That's all you really need.
I like to try to find a balance, even if I have like 75% stuff from synths. If I can put it 25% of recognizable sounds, it just still feels right. Especially if the synths are also consistent, like the JD800 and the JD1080 was used, but you know what I mean. Like
you can tell it comes from the same sound bank area.
Family.
Yeah. Same family. Yeah.
Yeah. And time period as well. So all those synths from the same time period basically sound
such a better time.
Connect to each other.
90s era synths are great.
Because synths nowadays are too good at replicating real orchestra, and so that's all they really do. And all the interesting creative sounds, it's just not the same anymore. It's gone.
That's why I had to sell it was a real new instrument at the time. It was Roland FA07 or 6, and it had a bunch of sounds, but they didn't feel like home to me.
It wasn't your vibe.
It was too new, too polished.
For the best.
Where was the grit?
Thank you. Yeah. We need to bring that back. I mean, it kind of is coming back a little bit, but not in full swing.
Kind of is.
There's a rawness to these old samples that you don't get anymore. It's like you say, it's too pristine, and I like that more raw sound, and then you can manipulate it with whatever filters you want. But
this episode's pretty exciting. I know you love it. It's called The Search Continues.
Z. After Bulma, Krillin, and Gohan crash landed on planet Namek, two friendly local
Oh yeah, that's right. I made a discovery that really actually really irritated me. I found out,
discovery, if you will.
I don't think there is a single rippable episode that has the very beginning of version 1 of the recap theme. So, like, version 1 of the recap theme is probably like the most rare unused one that I listed, like as version 1, because it was used for Ginyu Assault, and then it was used for Piccolo's Return and Gohan Attacks, and that's like the only 3 episodes I can think of where it's used. And I used to think Piccolo's Return had the whole theme, but I think I've come to realize that it's Piccolo's Return is version 2 mixed with version 1 also, because you can kind of notice at a certain part that the mixing sounds different on the music, because like the nanites are more prominent in version 1, and I don't know, everything sounds a little more processed through the zoom or whatever. And so it made me realize that there probably is no episode where you can rip the very beginning of version 1 of the recap theme, so you can't authentically recreate it, which is unfortunate.
That's why I don't have it on my channel. I would put that as like the very first track on my channel, but I'd have to actually make it.
Gohan Attacks features like 80 to 90% of it.
Right, but you gotta have the exact right beginning to get it to be right.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess you just have to like listen to Ginyu Assault, because that's the only real episode where you could hear it, which is it's unfortunate.
Is it in the Blu-ray version, or is it only in the broadcast version? I never checked. Yeah, so I never checked to see if the broadcast opening time's the same as the Blu-ray opening.
I don't think it's that version.
Last time on Dragon Ball Z.
It sounds like version 4.
And Jace launched spiral flash.
It sounds like version 4 to me.
With little effort. Jace.
Oh wait,
With little
version
effort.
6. That's version 6.
Two of the strongest warriors of Frieza's fighting force even stand a chance against the Saiyan's new power?
Yeah, you're right. Because
today.
Yeah, somebody had
That's
posted.
definitely
That's the one from
that's taken directly from Password's Purunga.
Yeah.
Which is sad that that I can listen and just know that.
Well, that's a very
that's
unique.
the only place that plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the first time it plays.
Yeah. You know what? To the editor's credit, I guess it fit when he knocked that away. Whatever.
Yeah, he tried. Somebody tried.
He did try. That is a show of effort on the Funimation editor in 2008.
Who in the same episode then adds random stuff around the middle of it.
Yeah, maybe he got cocky and thought, "Nah, this needs to be changed."
And nailed this one. Let's see what else I could do.
Yeah, let's see what else I can nail. Like, yeah, no.
we have to fix that. Like, I want to go back in the Ginyu Assault when we're all done, and
we can do that.
There's no reason.
Didn't I say? So I had the idea that after we successfully authentically remake like episode 68, 69, and 70, that we don't release them. We wait until we finish episode 68 or 67, and then we release them, almost like it's a subsequent release. Like, here's the next episode. And it shows off like, hey, here it is. We have it. We made it.
You know what's surprisingly difficult?
Then again, no, Gojo.
I was just gonna say where Jace goes reports back to Ginyu. Do you know how hard it is to figure out where each of those Dreamscape notes starts?
Oh God!
Like, Rakeem, picture waterfalls.
No problem.
Like,
that is actually a problem.
It's so hard. I would have had it done by now. I spent an hour and a half, and it was like so frustrating trying to figure out where is it. Like, it's not cartoon, and you can't look at it and say, "Oh, there it is." It's just
like
you have to go by like how it times.
Yes, yeah, and then hope that they didn't mess with it. That it actually just is straight from the synth.
I think there's a problem with the Dende track.
Which one?
Because of that.
Dende
because of Dreamscape. When he finds the dead Ginyus. It also times interestingly. So I was like, what?
What a nightmare.
Dreamscape is very difficult. It's like nanites that you can figure out what the pattern is, but it's still hard to work with.
Can you record it like separately and then manually move it till it kind of sounds close enough?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. It's still hard.
We were trying to do that with the nanites for Frieza Arrives at Guru's, and I was like, that's the first thing I noticed when yours version came in, because otherwise it sounded really good, but the nanites just disappear off the face of the earth, and I'm like, oh, there's Joe.
Oh no, I think in that particular instance I had it muted. I do have the nanites there, but it was one of those where I'd been moving it because I sent you something that wasn't done, but
it didn't have nanites in it.
Yeah, I didn't even bother to check what was muted and what wasn't. I knew I had enough in there. You'd be like, oh, this is okay.
Oh yeah, I mean, like it sounded great. It's just my ears trained to that, so when I hear it cut out, I know what you did.
Yeah, it's also hard. Blade Runner is very difficult because for that one, 70, if you do the inversion thing, as you know, it puts it down to a pretty clear, audible level. Like, it actually gets rid of a ton of the sound effects and the voices. But the problem is, it destroys Blade Runner, and it makes it very hard to actually match Blade Runner because what happens, it like gets kind of choppy on the higher register. And then, so for a while in doing that, I was trying to match it to the inverted thing. And then when I went back and compared it to the original, I was like, oh, I wasted so much time on this. It was just pretty close to the actual synth. The high end is raised a little bit, but not nearly what happened when you invert it. So yeah, that's a lot of work.
I know, because when I was trying to remake a section of Frieza Destroys the Planet, while it's exploding and Frieza is laughing, it's that shot of Frieza laughing and with the light shining on his face. It's a whole lot of low space voices, and like there's just two random unprompted Blade Runner notes that you can barely hear when the audio's inverted. It's just meow, meow, and then it's like 10 seconds passes, and then another two Blade Runner notes, completely like no tempo, nothing, just like thrown in there. And I'm like, okay, I'll just kind of do my best here.
We did that one, right? Like, we got a really accurate version of that last year.
I think we remade up. Didn't we remake up to the part when the planet itself explodes? I don't know. Did we remake the latter section?
I have to check. I thought we had the whole thing. That's one that I would have in the list.
We might have.
I
We might
think we
have, but I
did.
never used it.
Right, but I think we actually did have a full remake of it. We just because you only needed a portion of it.
Yeah, for when Vegeta turns into a big monkey.
Yeah, I have to dig back and find that, or if you dig back and see if you actually have it somewhere, because I want to throw that one up at some point too.
I still love that. That whole sequence is so good. I'm so proud of how some of these episodes came out. A grade 8 Vegeta is so good. Boom, boom, bang, 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 bang. So good. I love it. Anyway, you guys want to see sections of this boring episode?
Let's go.
This episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Wait, did he not even say this exciting episode? He just says this episode.
Oh, did he say that?
I think on this episode,
He says the search continues. He says the search continues, and then the title of the episode is The Search Continues.
Flashing attack!
The search for the remaining Dragon Balls continues on today's episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, today's episode.
I'll know.
On this episode. Here's another episode.
The next exciting episode is not.
Oh yeah, this is your red card where you're writing Vegeta's capsule theme. Right here's that's your red card. And it was very exciting. I know that's awesome, but get a load of this scene. That's exciting. It's Goku tiptoeing out of the hospital. Equally as exciting. On today's exciting episode of Dragon Ball Z.
This track, by the way, what if that scene where Yamcha sneaks out to go into Vegeta's like training capsule during the trunk, like before the androids?
Oh yeah, it would have, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Instead they use waiting music, which is fine.
Yeah, it was fine. But it's just funny. This would have fit perfectly for that one.
It's designed for scenes like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, straight from episode 8. That's the Krillin. That's the cut to Krillin in the morning in the car.
Yep.
More exciting than it actually is.
I know.
I think we should find the Dragon Balls as soon as possible so we can go and sleep in our own beds for once.
Well, that sounds great. This planet is so huge. I kind of get the feeling this is gonna take a while.
Don't worry, we'll find them in no time.
There's nothing I like more than a positive attitude.
Hey, how come Rady didn't come with us, huh?
Unfortunately, he had to stay home and finish some work in the garage.
This is strange. The radar is telling me that a Dragon Ball is approaching us dead ahead. See what I mean?
It's moving pretty fast.
What's that? What are you doing? Don't just stand there. Get the Dragon Ball.
And red card. Because I can't think of anything else.
That was really
but I do think a red card's necessary because I want this to be like a little badass moment where Krillin and Gohan are revving up, and then I'm gonna undercut the shit out of it with Wild Chase. Have like a really cool moment here.
Destructo Disc!
Masenko!
Wait, guys, stop! Don't do that! You'll destroy the Dragon Ball if you attack it!
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Where are those fools going? Why don't they ever listen to me? It's coming right for us! Quick, run! This is exactly the kind of thing that makes me want to never come back to this horrible planet!
Keep running!
I'm just a technical girl who works in a lab tinkering with her potato chips! How do I end up running from tornadoes and flying all over the galaxy looking for Dragon Balls?
Just don't stop.
You'll never guess how I came up with this.
I've got to get that Dragon Ball back. Piccolo's life depends on it. Whatever it takes.
Gohan in the Storm, used for Gohan in the Storm.
It's a little on the nose. I don't know.
It's a little too it's a little too dramatic too, maybe. But I couldn't resist. So maybe we can come up with something better later, but no one cares about this episode anyway. What was it?
That makes 3 left!
Oh yeah.
Sure feels good to be out of that hospital. I was so sick of these bandages tying me down. The only way to get better is to get out there and keep training.
I think you'd
And the
find that.
strings. And then cut the strings out. You know? It's all filler, and I'm trying to fill up time. But, you know, it gives me a chance to reuse a lot of really great tracks you guys wrote that might have only been used once in the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
This one was surprising. Bet you never thought you'd hear this one again, Joe.
The next one is that way. I'm sure of it. I hope we can find our way in this dense jungle.
I'm gonna make a torch so we can see better.
That didn't sound very comforting.
Got the whole thing in there.
And then you write a red card.
That's really funny. I can't believe that like worked.
I like it. Mm-hmm.
Almost the whole thing. Well,
It's
basically
like a
the whole
tiny
thing.
edit. Yeah.
It worked.
Never thought I'd hear that one again.
Everyone's gonna hear it and think it's the first time. I was like, I can't believe how much new music they wrote for this episode.
Yeah, you people skip these episodes.
Yeah, no one's gonna watch this episode.
They watched
anyway.
Raditz and then they stopped and they came back when they saw King Kai.
I know. I remember someone made a comment or something saying, "He's like, man, I was losing faith in the project because you guys were pumping out such boring episodes." I was like, what? Where? What? This one. Oh yeah.
Fine, I'll jump, but only if you promise
Another
you'll
classic.
catch me before I hit the ground.
Don't worry, I'll catch you.
True.
You know, I love that track too, but you know, not a whole lot happens in this.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So serious.
I think like initially I wanted to put Goku's second coming here, but it was like way too exciting for this. Do an edit.
You're all going to suffer. And when you beg me for mercy, I'll stare into your eyes as I crush you.
As I crush you. I'll probably use Goku's Lament from when Goku's Ginyu.
72.
That'll probably fit pretty well here because these scenes are boring. Haven't come up with like anything for this part. Around the World will fit here. I didn't edit it in because whatever.
Faith!
They have like a random hospital scene.
Now, let's leave this oversized nightmare.
So I'll just sing it for you.
Great! First my son, now my husband.
Come
on, don't take it so hard. You know Goku. I'm sure.
Anyway. Yeah, that's you know it'll fit there because it's designed to fit there.
I knew my genius scientific mind would come in handy at some point!
Destructo Disc!
Psycho!
We did it!
Maybe an embellishment there.
Nice catch, Bulma!
Maybe you'd like to apologize for the comments you made earlier? You always second-guess my abilities, yet I seem to be the one saving you all the time.
Is that really true?
I don't think of a better ending. I don't know. I like that little edit.
I like
with
that
the fly
there.
on the plane.
Now we only have 2 left.
Maybe it's a little undeserving of such a boring battle, but I don't know. I only used that track once, and I really wanted to use it again. I mean, we all know I'm going to use it again when Krillin gets his power up from Guru.
Yeah, but it's fine there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fine. No one's
You know,
gonna see this.
honestly, what else are you gonna do? Do we really want to spend all that time writing red cards for these episodes compared to these good tracks?
No. No one's gonna see it anyway.
Yeah, you like picked some of my favorites from that I wrote from that little arc.
Boy, it sure is nice to feel the wind through my hair again.
I like that. And I particularly like that because we talked about using Goku Renewed, and that is what Goku Renewed is, that ending right there. So I like that that sort of sets it up.
Until he's not renewed in the next episode.
That's
This will all be a red card with some big, scary, mighty build-up, starting with, computer sounds, etc. But it's going to be this big horror build-up that
just in case the worst happens.
that climaxes as like the water drains out, and then it leads right into, of course,
Yeah.
You are fully healed now. You can open your eyes. Unfortunately, we weren't successful in reconstructing your tail.
No matter. I don't need it.
Vegeta's recovery has finally ended, and his next terrifying battle with Goku is waiting on the horizon. Don't miss it as the adventure continues on the next Dragon Ball Z.
I think maybe a little Ascent could actually work in there for the transition. I have a little
Vegeta's
Ascent here.
recovery has finally ended, and his next terrifying battle with Goku.
not to make more work, but I think it would be better to recreate that little portion of Vegeta's theme and more just seamlessly blend into closing music.
We could do that.
There's nothing special about what those instruments are. That's all known quantity, so it's not that hard to do it.
Yeah, we could make a whole custom lead into the ending theme, because I just completely cut the fat entirely of the regular closing and went straight to the fuzz guitar.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe a little bit of ascent to make it like a big, exciting, scary, dramatic ending. I don't know. Well, a little something extra. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to that episode. When you write a lot of your fake Namek themes from episode 41, I'm sure they'll fit right at home here in episode 42 as well. Maybe a couple demanding red cards, but I don't know. I did a better job filling this one up. Just trying to use as many forgotten tracks as I could. Figure something out for that whole section. Big snooze fest. No one's gonna watch it anyway.
Not even us.
Ba-bum, 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 bum, da-dum, bum. Ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, bum. I don't know. Are there any tracks I've been like dying to reuse again? I'm always like pondering that. What tracks have I neglected in our library? To the point where I'm starting to like, I don't want to neglect the original library, but we need to get more of the older tracks too, even if we got to remake them, unfortunately. So after that, a friendly surprise. Yeah, I don't know if I did a whole lot with that one. This is the one that's a lot more interesting, only because it's intercut with a lot of Vegeta scenes, and obviously it gives me a chance to just like, it's just more interesting because actual important things are happening. These version 5.
Last time on Dragon Ball Z.
Nothing too special about this recap.
It's back and ready for battle, but are Goku and the gang ready for the rebirth of Vegeta? Find out today on Dragon Ball Z.
As you can see, I also filled up quite a lot of this episode as well. It opens with, them trying to get a Dragon Ball. Do you remember any of this stuff, Rakeem?
I remember the big giant guy.
You do?
At the house? I do, actually. Because I was like, this is so stupid that I couldn't forget it. It locked its way in.
Well, it's like Sleeping Princess and Devil's Castle. That's what it always reminded me of.
Is that like a reference to something?
I don't think it is. It reminds me very much of that. Like I don't know if it was a reference to it or just it connected to that in my brain, but that's what it reminds me of.
There's potential to write like some silly Bulma music here if you want, and don't forget, all the silly Bulma music you guys can write is likely to have a home in Bulma's Big Day or the one before Destination Guru, the 2 filler Bulma episodes. There's plenty of Bulma throughout Namek that your music will suit. So
there you go.
No theme with Bulma's wasted. So they fall into an icicle, and then a giant snowball tries to kill them.
This is not happening!
And I want this scene to be a red card because it cuts to a couple of shadowy figures, which are, the 2 filler aliens. I forgot their name, Zadok and Raby or something. And it frequently cuts to them during this scene. So I want this to be a red card so you can put in the little Arlean melody there. Write something wacky and crazy.
If you guys have anything planned to save us, now might be a good time!
I think we're in trouble.
Yeah, it's pretty boring.
Go left! Go left! Go left!
Right.
Left, go left, go left. Right.
I never noticed that. This is a well-animated episode, too.
See, I can see some really fun music working there. Like, you could just...
This is great. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, see, there you go. A little Arlean melody here. Back to the chase.
That was fun. Let's do it again.
And then giant snowball.
I don't want to ride this anymore!
Care to tell me what happened, Vegeta? Or is the wound to your ego still too raw to be examined? Judging by the stress fractures in your protective armor, you must have received.
This is boring. Let's get back to the snowball.
That's putting it lightly. I hope you're not entertaining ideas of revenge. I might not be here to put you back together next time.
Frieza here? I need to see him.
He left. I don't know where he is.
I hope you're not lying to me. I'm in no mood.
Perhaps Kui can help you find him. I saw him on his way to the training center earlier. You can catch him there before he leaves if you hurry.
I have no use for that coward. If you see Frieza, tell him I'm looking for him.
But, Vegeta, wait! Vegeta! Vegeta! Sir, you're leaving your scouter behind!
Keep it. It's yours. I have no use for it.
Reminds me of the end of Vegeta. Right before Goku flies off to face Frieza.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah. A little bit. I mean, it fit really well.
Oh yeah, you can't argue with it.
And then here I'll need to write a better transition, figure out what I want to do here.
I guess I overdid it there a little. I should learn to start out smaller.
Low space voices are needed after reversion, because I can't keep having it cut to Piccolo music.
At least my nose still works. I've always heard.
Meanwhile, back to the thing we really care about. Gohan, Krillin, and Bulma.
Look at the ceiling!
What? I hope you're not thinking what I think you're thinking!
Oh, you like that? I like that edit.
I love that edit. That was excellent. They spend like a lot of the the entire first half of that episode, they are in the ice tunnel, right?
That's the whole first half. I mean, it is intercut with actually interesting Vegeta scenes, but that's it. You're looking at it. That's the first half.
It's Mario 64. They're just sliding down the penguins like slide the entire time.
It's amazing how nothing happens, and then they walk around for like the first 5 minutes of the second half. This is when Krillin start to put things together, but still, it's like so little happens. It's frustrating. But I like the way I edited this one too. This one took a while for me to come up with and put together. It will require some of Joe going back through his project files and making a couple tweaks for me, but it came
Finally
together
be
pretty
able to see
nicely.
Piccolo again. Ruin! Woman, somebody help me!
What's happening?
Would you quit clowning around? We don't have time to play!
But I'm not! Something's got a hold of me and I can't get free!
Gohan!
This one's straight horror.
I know. I'm actually really proud of how the end of this episode came together. Oh yeah, this is where things finally get fucking interesting. After 3 episodes. So there is a particular Vegeta scene that we briefly discussed earlier because there's 2 different directions I'm not sure I want to go with this particular scene because this is like where shit finally gets good. So here's track version 1 that I wanted to do. There's 2 different directions we can go about it. So here's version 1.
What he always does, taking on too much too soon.
There's nothing I want more than to return to Earth and pay a little visit to Kakarot. But first to planet Namek, I need to pick something up.
And then
Well, Vegeta, I hear you.
a red card would start with some zip lead. Beow, beow. Similar to the Vegeta Trunks theme from the Android Saga. Yeah, something like that, but obviously not that. Or this version.
Does, taking on too much too soon.
There's nothing I want more than to return to Earth and pay a little visit to Kakarot. But first to planet Namek, I need to pick something up.
Well, Vegeta, I hear you took quite a beating recently.
You get a smoother transition out of that one, and there is room to play with the evil Vegeta chord progression and kind of turn it into that So the first one is obviously a reference to Namek's destruction when it cuts to the Frieza base and it plays that theme. That's basically what it's a reference to kind of help make it feel cohesive. The latter version does more for evil Vegeta's theme and how we're trying to phase it out. Like either work, both are kind of brooding and low before he starts talking to Kui, low key. So there's 2 different ways we can go about it. I'm still pretty in the middle on both. I could go with either. I'm kind of a bit more partial to evil Vegeta theme, I guess, just because there's more I can do with that leitmotif, especially, and it has a smoother transition outwards into the next thing. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
I like the evil Vegeta.
Yeah.
Just the way that they both worked just fine. But with evil Vegeta, the way that it ends,
oh yeah,
I can see where it would, like where it could go.
Yeah, it has a better stemming point.
That's what I was gonna say. I think it's an easier transition. It sets it up. It sets the next track up a lot better, and then you can do more with it. Whereas you're sort of fighting against the other track. That would be the thing that I'd go with.
That's fair. As y'all know, this is it's kind of like it's a direct reference to this.
Sir, all checkpoint communications from the Ginyu Force have stopped. And sir, Lord Frieza's...
So yeah. But, you know, evil Vegeta probably works better.
My initial gut was actually to go with that one, but then really thinking it through, I think it makes more sense. Plus, the other thing is, for this one, it's a little different because here Vegeta is clearly the dominant character in that moment. Like, this isn't a cut to a Frieza thing, this is a cut to a Vegeta thing. So...
Which is, you know, we're looking at it through the lens of, you know, this is the first, well, it really is like the second time we're seeing this location anyway, and so we're kind of seeing it through Vegeta's lens, which is why I use the alien space theme too. It's all unfamiliar, alien, if you will, to us. So, you know, I'll probably go with the evil Vegeta theme version, but just letting you know, like, there were different approaches that I considered for this. And then, of course, this moment, which is, I waited a long time to fucking score this moment. I had this in my head for a long... I knew exactly this is what I wanted to do.
No! If I don't beat him to the Dragon Balls, then I'll never be able to defeat him!
Why don't you do the smart thing and just give up? Because you will never get those Dragon Balls. Believe me, Vegeta. Frieza will most certainly find him first, and when he does, we'll destroy the planet Namek.
I can't give up!
Wait! Vegeta!
Vegeta?
Wait! On second thought, I think I'll be needing this, Doctor!
Vegeta!
All right, Frieza! I'm coming for you!
Nice.
You two better let me go this instant! See my friend over there? He knows karate!
I love that line.
It's unfortunate, but playtime is over.
Playtime?
Time to get down to business.
Red card. Something horrific. A lot of potential for horror music. It's very well animated.
For the budget.
Yeah, for the budget. And then something silly.
Hey, I recognize you two guys! It was you and the hieroglyphics I found in the cave!
And then comes the Arlian music.
Correct. Give the boy a prize.
Write a different ending to it.
Okay, according to the radar... 3 left!
This is my favorite use of the flashback theme I've done in a while.
This can't be real! It's all an illusion!
Go ahead, Q-Ball. Aren't you gonna save your little friend? But be warned, those creatures are meat eaters.
Go on! Bulma!
Is this really Planet Namek? What could have changed this beautiful place into such a nightmarish land? Vegeta, speeding towards the planet searching for Frieza, will find much more than he bargained for when he reaches the surface. And what about Goku? Will he come to in time to help straighten out this mess? For the answers to all of your questions, tune in to the next exciting adventure on Dragon Ball Z.
Forgot about that ending.
I forgot the hospital was called Sun Wukong Hospital.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I really liked how the whole latter half of this episode came together. The Arlian music just fucking worked perfectly. And also, yeah, this I was just waiting to use this forever.
Why don't you do the smart thing and just give up? Because you
I
will
knew
never
it
get
would
those
work here.
Dragon Balls. Believe me,
Ready music.
Vegeta. Frieza will most certainly
I
find
can't
them
give up.
first, and when he does, we'll destroy the planet Namek.
I can't give up!
Wait, Vegeta!
Well, that'll be after I pitch him up.
On second thought, I think I'll be needing this, Doctor!
Vegeta!
Yeah, I think there's probably I checked and I think there's room to use it one more time when Vegeta powers up one time on Namek. But then I think after that, that'll be the end of Vegeta attacks. It might be a little too heavy metal for early Namek, you know what I mean?
I highly agree.
But it was put to damn good use. It's a great track.
I agree.
Some of your finest work, Rakeem. But yeah, that's basically Arlia. I touched a little bit of Brood of Evil, not a whole lot with that episode.
I like that you just called it Arlia instead of Fake Namek. You don't even remember the name of it.
I didn't realize I did that, but I like that Arlia theme, and I'm glad we're reusing a lot of it because it fit pretty dang well with a little bit of editing, a little bit of elbow grease.
I wanted to throw one thing out there just because I was thinking it had nothing to do with the Fake Namek stuff, but somebody the other day, I forget who it was, but somebody commented on my Vegeta angry about for when Vegeta bursts out of the water. I think one of you guys saw that.
Yeah, I remember that.
So the one thing I was going to say about that is not to use that, but the mod wheel version of Ascent, the one that goes, which is in the beginning of Vegeta powers up, that I think should be there. That's got to be where he's
absolutely. And that's the thing, because I already know that's going to be a red card, and I want it to. I referenced Vegeta powers up intentionally when Rakeem asked about it because I want that Ascent mod wheel thrown in there, for something very, very wild, aggressive, and violent. But I want it to also feel a bit like Vegeta powers up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I want it to be used there, and I want it to be used when Vegeta initially attacks Raccoon, because that's a pretty crazy scene as well. That was the last one. Brood of Evil, the series finale for our Fake Namek saga.
AKA the episode people actually watch again.
Yes, the episode people will actually watch.
Completed his recovery and sped away.
Oh, and of course I had to use version 3 for this. If you give 1 second.
I can't give up!
Last time on Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta completed his recovery and sped away to planet Namek, where he learned the evil Frieza and his henchmen were already searching for the magic Dragon Balls
and the
secret to immortality. Meanwhile, Bulma and the gang found themselves at the mercy of Rady and Sacro as they began to discover that things were not what they seemed. It appears our heroes have been caught in a web of deceit, and this unexpected snag in their search for the Namekian Dragon Balls could cost them dearly. With Vegeta on his way to Namek, our heroes have no time to lose. Can they escape these mysterious aliens? Stay tuned.
Hang in there!
on Night Feeders, so they won't eat you now.
They'll just hold you there till dark, giving us time to escape.
I mixed too early into
Hold on, I'm confused. The last I remember, I was on planet Namek.
Well, welcome to the outfit of the universe. We've become quite familiar with it since our ship crashed here. And believe me, what you see around you is as good as it gets. But just when we had given up hope of ever getting off this smoldering rock, along you came to save the day, bringing us a ship that we could steal and use for our escape. We planned to leave with your ship that night, but the conditions weren't right, so we bid our time until they were. We were simply, how do you say, killing time. We decided that we'd have a little fun on your behalf while we were waiting, and stumbled across something better than we could have ever imagined.
But this isn't making any sense.
We brought you three back to our home here, a building culled from the parts of our wrecked ship, and fashioned into a makeshift laboratory. I scanned you and uncovered some very interesting information about the Dragon Balls you were searching for, and their location on planet Namek.
But then, how did you... I still don't understand it all.
It was all just an illusion.
Is this how you guys get your kicks? Is it?
You had to admit it was pretty exciting.
You gotta be kidding me!
You're not taking our ship!
Is that right? And what are you going to do about it? Your friends seem to be all tied up at the moment.
But we don't really have a taste for violence. So let us leave, and we'll go peacefully. We could have taken your lives before we took your ship, but we didn't. Instead, we gave you a little dream to keep your attention until we could sneak away.
You jerk!
Now, the time is right for us to make our escape. Soon an opening will form, allowing a ship to leave the planet.
Hey, give me that back!
You won't be needing it anymore. And I think we'll stop and pick up the Dragon Balls ourselves on our way home.
And now you'll be left stranded on this rock, waiting for someone to happen by and take you away from this desolation.
You won't get away with this! You hear me?
Don't just stand there shouting, run after them, hurry!
What exactly do you expect me to do about it?
I don't know, but do something!
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it might be a little too much over editing, but I'll
I was
figure
gonna
it
say
out.
for some of that I could smooth some of it out.
Hey,
Like
yeah.
some of the isolated sections of the instruments, and it smooths itself out.
I really like the way Piccolo Prelude played, but it was such a long like flashback scene too that I had to like loop it twice. But yeah, you know, and then a whole lot of this I haven't even touched. When they get to the try and steal it, there's a lot of like comedy intercut with a lot of the action too, which is difficult to achieve in editing without and make it sound smooth. So a lot of the time I just hand that off to be a red card. Like maybe in the earlier days, like I would try and do my best to make it work, but I feel like I should lean on the composers a little bit more and let you guys do your thing. People love it, and it results in a better episode. But we'll see. I want to let
There's all the timing stuff too. That's what's important. If you could set yourself up with a new composition, you can time it so that it hits the right beats in like a tempo map or whatever.
exactly, and you know that's how it will work that way. But who knows? Maybe something will come to me, and I'll fill up a lot more in due time. Anyway, that's the end of filler, and finally, plot can progress again.
Frieza. Ha! He'll bow to me once I've recovered the Dragon Balls. And then no one will stand in my way.
Short little scene. Oh yeah. So they finally land on Namek. This whole sequence is going to be liftoff preparations, and it'll work. Trust me, it'll be beautiful. If any, actually, maybe I can probably show you real quick. Give me 1 second. No, not that. This one. That. And
Oh, she'll be just fine.
ignore Mrs. Briefs, who I just realized is voiced by Cynthia Kranz.
Nice day, isn't it, Doctor?
I can't believe it! I thought we'd never make it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I've never seen anything else like it.
And this time it's the real planet Namek. I just got confirmation from the computer system.
We're here, and only 4 days off schedule.
Yeah, well, our little detour notwithstanding, the shortcut those kids told us about was right on.
Take us down, Bulma. What are we waiting for?
You two, now sit down and put on your seatbelts. We're entering an atmosphere, not taking a ride around the block. So strap in and hope for the best.
Here goes. Silent time.
A perfect landing. Someone needs to compliment me on my skills, because I sure got them. Now I'll just use this atmospheric sensor.
Anyway, that's why it needs an actual ending. But like some kind of triumphant ending. I might cut it to get to the exciting part a little bit sooner, but that gives you the gist of how that scene's going to play out.
That works really well.
I agree.
And that's the landing on Namek.
Plus, it's a great callback, a great after the fact callback for that scene later on, the filler scene later on.
It absolutely is. You see?
Yeah.
It's like poetry. See, it rhymes. Each stanza sort of rhymes with the next one. Hopefully, it'll work. And then we have a quick little goofy Bulma scene. This is another one of those moments where years ago I pictured in my brain. I'm like, okay, this needs to be here.
This place, you know, except for the sky, it doesn't really look all that different from Earth.
Yeah, it does sort of look like home, but it's way too quiet. It kind of gives me the creeps, you know?
I guess so.
What do you think you're doing just walking around before I...
Intercut it with silly Bulma. But yeah, just like a nice quiet little moment. I've mentioned before I like the dialogue in the Japanese version. It's just talking about Piccolo and how Gohan misses him. I did fill up a few couple sections here. Oh, I don't know how I feel about that one. I'm gonna cut it out for now, and then I'll show you in a minute. But yeah.
What kind of ship is that?
It looks like a Saiyan ship!
No, I'm scared!
That's just great!
This can't be happening! It's just a dream!
Gohan, mask your energy, or he'll sense you!
Right.
Setting the stage. I don't know. That might be the last time I use Fund Over, but I like to use that to really set the stage. Here I threw in Face Off, but I don't really know if I like how it came out.
The dream!
Gohan, mask your energy, or he'll sense you!
Right.
It's Vegeta! It's gotta be!
Did you just say Vegeta?
And he must be here for the Dragon Balls!
Oh, what do we we do? We can't possibly fight Vegeta, and if he gets to the Dragon Balls before us, we're doomed!
There's no way we're gonna let him get to them before we do. Bulma, you gotta leave now. Go back to Earth alone. We'll take care of things here. Just leave us your radar, and Gohan and I will collect the Dragon Balls.
But...
Yeah, I don't know.
It's okay. Don't worry about us. I don't think we'll get into any trouble. We know what we're doing.
It might be a red card. A lot of red cards.
I understand. Sure, I'll leave you guys here and go back to Earth, but I'm coming back with Goku. But I think that you guys should know that'll take 2 months. But what's 2 months anyways? Just 60 days! 1,440 hours, 86,400 minutes, 5,184,000 seconds! Right?
Yeah. It's only 2 months.
Red card. Well, more like a green card.
It's time. Time to remove the only obstacle standing in my way. Once the Dragon Balls are in my possession, all the power of eternal life will be mine, and then no one will be able to stop me. Not even the mighty Frieza. I'm already picking up his power level. So he's near. I'm coming for you, Frieza. I sure hope you're ready.
What? What did you say? Okay, got that. Yes? Go on.
You sure you understand? Tell Goku, but whatever you do, don't tell Chi-Chi. She'll freak. So one more time, repeat it back to me. Okay. Yeah, good. Keep going. Uh-huh. No, you got that part backwards. Right. Did you get all that? You better
We need a
have.
version without the
man.
horns.
What's going on? Did I miss something?
Yeah, I'm gonna need a version without the horns, and then I'll probably end that sooner, because then, like, when they point up, that'll probably be like a silly cue one of you guys will write.
Mhm.
And then the rest of the episode is blank, because from this point onward, well, I could put the closing music somewhere, but from this point onward, this is where I want to start Frieza's introduction. Right on Bulma. She freaks out. I mean, I know, like,
Was that Vegeta's ship again?
like the scene hasn't started, but like
this
you
time.
can set the mood a little earlier on, and I want to give you guys who's doing this, Rakeem?
Mhm.
Yeah, this is Frieza's first sight of Frieza.
That's right. So yeah, I just want to like give you as much room as you can to set the mood, even though I know the scene doesn't actually start for another few seconds. Right here on the Namek village. And I think you only really have like a minute, which is plenty, but still, like it's a pretty big scene.
Good. Just 3 more to go now.
There's that laugh.
What's this? The evil tyrant Frieza and his ruthless henchmen have already gathered 4 of the 7 Namekian Dragon Balls.
The frustrating thing is the narrator doesn't start talking on a particular shot. He starts talking on that shot of Zarbon, like near the end of it, that it holds for like several seconds. So where I'm going to put the closing music isn't exactly well defined as it usually is.
Shame we can't move the narrator.
Yeah, I know.
What's this? The evil tyrant Frieza and his ruthless henchmen have already gathered.
So I don't know. I'll have to think a little bit about how I want to set up the closing theme when I write that card, I guess. But it's a great little ending to the many adventures to come on Namek.
Going back to Face Off, the problem is it works right up until you start going back to Gohan and Krillin there, and then it almost doesn't fit anymore.
Not really.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It fits for a while.
It fits, but I still don't know if I love it there.
Well, and what I was gonna say is
Yeah.
I think it would be better using that as a Namek serious track, like a new composition, like Namek serious, whatever you would want to call it. But you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh yeah, I think a red card would be much better.
Hmm.
I mean, like
Same.
we've we finally hit Namek. It's like the let's give you more red cards.
Right.
Like I said, Frieza's introduction. That's the big one. That's the big finale. Yeah. Liftoff preparations is obviously important. That needs to be remade. I would prioritize that as far as remakes go.
That's next.
But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as I've gotten. A lot of these episodes aren't too bad, I think, as far as preserving sound effects. So I think like that'll be a real relief compared to the Saiyan battle, whereas the Saiyan battle was like every episode was like a freaking nightmare. On top of additional sound effects I had to do. It's just, yeah, that.
That's such a good card, though.
Thank you. I go. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's pretty much all I had to show you. I don't know. Do you guys have any creative ideas? Any fun things you want to call? I mean, I only wrote up cards up until the end of the Space Kids. And like I said, a lot of those cards that you guys have yet to write are going to dictate how I further shape the rest of these Fake Namek episodes. That's why it's important to go in order. Yeah. Rakeem, is your first assignment going to be Piccolo's homeworld?
Most likely.
Okay. Whatever you want to start with.
That or Around the World. It'll be one of the two.
Oh, Around the World's fun.
Just because let's get the recreations out of the way. They take the longest for
they do.
Whatever reason.
One is like a direct remake and the other is like, it's a GBA adaptation, so you can get a little creative with it. And there's room to experiment and make it your own thing once it gets to like Earth music in the second half. So, you can still have fun with that. But the important thing is you kind of have to write that theme to fit multiple cutaways to the hospital. So bear that in mind. That's one of those like a lot like a Saiyan battle track where it's like, okay, you need to write it this way in order to make it work for these scenes. Piccolo's homeworld doesn't really need to be written that way. So I don't know if that's easier or harder on the composers, but just bear that in mind when you write Around the World.
Well, you also showed how certain scenes will have it cut.
Yeah, I compared it to one other scene in the next episode when Goku's doing the sit-ups, which I I love that scene because he still looks like a mummy and he's doing sit-ups, and Master Roshi's just sitting there eating cake, saying 4 more sets. He knows Goku too well, and he's like, whatever.
Known him since he was a kid.
That's right.
And for Piccolo's homeworld, I was gonna say, can I change the tempo at all? Or would you rather me not?
If it works better for the scene, don't radically change it because you can change it like a smidge if you need to. I would recommend not. But if you need to, it's not a big deal. But I need it to sound like if a regular viewer was listening to it, if they heard it in episode 76, they would be like, oh, this is the same track from that episode, I want it to feel like it's the same track, not like it's a remake of it.
Okay. I don't have to change anything except for timings. In certain places, it seems as though
you do have to write a beginning.
Things.
You have to write a new beginning and an ending to it too, which I'm sure you're more than capable of writing something good to that. I had a thought about that the other day, or not the other day, earlier today actually, because I'd mentioned that melody from Piccolo's Resurrection, that do 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 do. I don't know if you wanted to like, if that might work, incorporating that in the beginning or the ending that you would write, the brand new part, basically. Do you think like that little leitmotif might work well in there?
It can.
If you had something better in mind.
Try it out for sure.
That's right.
You left the space right there.
Yeah, I hope I left enough space, I'm excited to hear that because, I plan to reuse it a fair bit. I think it's a severely it's only used once in the original run, so we're going to it's like mentioning the Clone Wars. We're going to expand that.
I think it comes to that.
It was mentioned in an offhand sentence, so we're going to
That's right.
we're going to build 2 movies and 8 seasons of a show off of it.
And some scenes from a new show, if you will.
Yeah. Now it's half the Star Wars lore, so yeah, everyone's got their assignments.
For the angelic DBZ theme, I was working on that a little bit. So I have the piano, and I think I told you I re-recorded parts of it, and I changed the mix so that it sounds pretty consistent with the Fallen. That it almost feels like pretty cohesive. Where I put the piano on the left, which is approximately where Rakim has his pan. So I have it in the beginning. It goes away, and I added a lower male choir voice that I'm experimenting with on the ship to give it a little bit more impact at the ending.
I like that.
And yeah, and I think it works. I have to change the MIDI a little bit. It's like too many notes for that section that I made, so I have to redo it. But I like going from there's like not too much of a low end to adding the low end when they get into the ship.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would that the piano would like I thought I would like it better choir alone, but no, the piano really adds a lot to it. And I think introducing it and then taking it away will give that last section more impact. But I don't know. I guess I'd have to see it for myself. You said it works better that way.
I feel it does. I mean, I think that's a good idea. I've tried, I tried it every way possible. And when you originally sent the Metal Gear track, I tried it just as the choir. And the biggest problem is you can't, no matter how good I got that synth choir to sound, it's not a live female vocalist. I'm not Kojima. So, it's it kind of is what it is. And as a result of that, you can't get the articulation unless I really start going into more recent, there are female vocal patches and stuff that I could use, but then you're kind of exceeding the scope of the project. I don't want to do that. So I felt the piano's better.
But I was also like I was gonna kind of recommend simplifying the second half of the melody as well a little bit. Like almost like just repeat the first half, where it kind of goes and then once you hit that like third progressive note, then you start over once it cuts to the interior, and you do eventually, but I feel like you should start over a little bit sooner.
So what I did, I have changed that because what was happening there was I had a lot more notes and I did not like them, and so I ended up getting rid of a lot of it, and then I actually copied and pasted the first like 4, I forget how many, over. And what happens is because of all the junk that I have layered, all the FX patches layered onto it, it has this ridiculously long release. So you can just kind of get away with whatever. Like if you actually look at the WAV file, it is a hard cut that should just stop. And because of all the FX patches, it sounds like the choir keeps angelically trailing off. It actually works really well. So I have a lot of flexibility with what I'm doing because the FX chain is stupidly insane. And it was like really in depth to program, but I was very happy with it when I got working. The patch sounds awful without it. It's the
It sounds like a banshee scream.
Like choir patches you've ever heard.
Oh, does it like a PS1 game?
Not even as good as it because it's Rakim, it's MF Oz 1, and it's just like there's nothing to it. It's just like this like bad. It's bad. But when you layer all those FX chains, or when you layer all the FX patches in a chain together, it sounds great.
Oh my god. I think the other day I was starting to get a little depressed because I was listening to it over and over and over again. This is bringing down my mood a little bit.
There's a trick to that. If you listen to the piano, that is one of a number of very common like really sad chord progressions. So
really?
What I did with the piano is when I realized the choir alone doesn't work, I took the piano and I just made a really sad chord progression that I knew was like correct. It's been used in dozens of things. I took that and then I layered the DBZ theme on top of it. So yeah, it starts sad and then the DBZ theme happens to be there. Like at your heartstrings.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I mean it's fine. It's so weird to hear that little dun, 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 because they never did anything like that in the show, and I guess that's just because they hated. Mike didn't like the DBZ theme.
I doubt that.
Too bad. I'm sure he agrees it's solid, but like I think they had a resentment toward it because Bruce wrote it.
That's why
But
Goku dies is only used once.
yeah, it's an
Well, I
interesting.
guess in the beginning, it seemed like Mike liked it a lot, actually.
I
During
like
the
that.
Frieza saga, he definitely liked it.
Well,
Yeah.
I think what he is, because if you watch a lot of TV shows, it's the same type of concept where if they're gonna go this type of thing, they have a theme and they will use that theme and incorporate it a lot until they start getting braver and getting away from it.
Oh yeah. And it's like any scene, like it's almost like stipulated. It's on a post-it note somewhere. It's like any scene Goku attacks, then or Gohan attacks, use the main theme. Any scene where Vegeta says anything, throw in Vegeta's theme.
Says anything.
Yeah, I find some of the editing for Vegeta a little obnoxious in a couple of Frieza episodes. Like when he shoots Frieza in the back and it's just like playing Vegeta's theme. And you already you just know it's not a triumphant moment for Vegeta, but they just play Vegeta's theme in full blast and you're like who are you fooling? You're not fooling anyone.
It should be horror Frieza.
It turns into horror Frieza, but you know, they shouldn't have even like bothered.
At some point when you were a little bit more edited with, or you're more caught up with the editing for some of these episodes, I need you to mix cartoon and melody because I want to put that together and get that thing.
Oh yeah. Wasn't I getting to that in my Frieza approach?
You gotta show it to Rakim. I was telling him about it before you jumped on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, were you?
I don't think he's actually heard it because I didn't want to like clog up the group chat with it because it was mostly just you and me going back and forth about single.
Yeah, I don't think I have the latest one on this timeline because I didn't paste it in yet, but it was a whole lot of like just directly comparing like what is this? This is the show's audio, I think. Oh no, this is from Goku and Captain Ginyu the Frog. And I guess this was Joe's first draft or first revision, and then this is like Joe's second revision here.
Get so many clicks.
It's just there's no melody to it at all.
There is no melody at all.
It's just nonsense. This is Frieza approaches that I put together, or not
really, Before you play that, really quick, just pause it for 1 sec. Rakim, I just want to tell you that little thing that there is no way to MIDI that correctly, or if there is, I couldn't find it because I tried it and tried it and tried, and finally I got mad at it and I said, "Fine, I'll put my fingers on the keys and I'll do it." One try, I got it. I nailed it.
Oh my god!
Amazing.
That's the way you should have done it from the start.
Yes, exactly.
Sometimes you got to do that. It's the only way.
Oh, this was such a nightmare. This was Namek flying, but I had to like retime all the flutes because the first comes around this point, and the second one. Notice it comes right at the cut mark because they don't line up in a late because this is like the second closest usage. I think I took this from Goku's Ginyu and Ginyu's Goku. Oh, probably not. It has the water.
No, you took it from 76.5.
Maybe I don't know.
It's definitely 75.
Yeah.
I had to reline up all the flutes. Notice the cut, and you can barely hear it with the inverted audio. And you can hear it even less so with the...
It all looks the same to me.
So the first... And the second... is on that second cut. And so had to make sure it timed close. And I had to manually reline up a lot of these. And Joe, you may have to rewrite, write a new ending to that, so that it leads right into the Amakaduri going doom 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 doom.
That's just one sound. I forget which one it is, but it's one single sound that they just sustain.
Yeah, it's just high gliz, right?
No, no. There's a pad there. I forget the name of it, but at the very end, it's like that thing that holds for a second.
Well, yeah, but then it's just high gliz, and then the high gliz just kind of cuts out.
Yeah, that's easy. That part.
Yeah. As you can see, I did not reconstruct a whole lot. The reconstructed, retimed parts are all these small little chips on the bottom. The top audio is from the DVD. The second one is inverted audio, and obviously the bottom past the checkered mark here, that is what I was able to recreate. And this is from episode 80.
You can still hear the high gliss.
Yep. There's a little liquid stack mixed into Frieza's theme. But unfortunately, then it ends with here. And then they normally loop it here. But
well, I guess.
Oh yeah, that will have to be remade. This is me trying to get awkward frog music cut into like 12 different pieces. Oh, this is Joe's clean cut of Frieza dialogue, and then here's me stitching together all of Guru's theme from like 3 different sources, I think, because I don't trust the CD at all. Obviously, all check for timing, etc. Down to the usually when I edit and do recreations, I go down to the show audio time units, and I go down to I try and get it as close as humanly possible, and try and time it as well as I possibly can using audio waves.
You know the trick with that?
What?
If you select it and you press plus or minus a number, you can move it like real incrementally.
Oh, okay.
I learned that recently trying to line something up that you couldn't line up by just dragging it.
I think most of this is taken from Goku's Ordeal.
As Captain Ginyu exposed Goku's only weakness, does the Saiyan from Namek's encounters with this alien? Stay tuned for scenes from the next episode of Dragon Ball.
You know.
Did you try to reconstruct Dende leaves from earlier?
Dende leaves. No, I've not reconstructed that or Frieza meets Nail. Those are two. I think those are the 2 last scenes that I can feasibly recreate.
I don't know. You cannot do Frieza meets Nail because the end is different.
I can do most of it.
Most of it you can, yeah.
Yeah, but like there's like a long Ginyu Force theme bit here that leads into awkward frog music. There's a even longer Dragon Ball Z theme here that leads into awkward frog music. There's my favorite version of Peaceful Namek theme.
Nails come back.
Wire. All that's got to be remade. So much to be remade.
I know it's coming.
This one's hard, so.
And we all know it's going to be important. Oh, cartooning. Yeah, I'll put that in later. But yeah, there's so much.
I mean, the truth is, if you look at the timeline, we do have almost half of it.
Yeah, I mean,
we also
the big beasts are just like the Ginyu Force theme and the Dragon Ball Z scenes.
Yeah. And the Dark Frieza dialogue at
Oh,
the end.
Dark.
That's
I love Dark Frieza
I
dialogue.
know you do.
Please faithfully recreate that because I love that track and I really want to use it when Frieza's killing Nameks.
You gotta grab the section from 216 and plug it in there. So at least you have something sitting there.
It's not much, but yeah, there's very little.
Isn't it like 30 seconds? I mean, it's not any of the tracks 2.5 minutes, but
More like 10 seconds, but yeah.
are you sure? I thought it was a little longer than that. I think there's two uses of it. One's really short, and then another is a little bit longer in 216.
They're both from like the same episode when
Yeah,
Vidal's fighting
Vidal's
Smoothie.
getting spoke. Yeah, right.
Good episode.
Which one do you guys call
Dark Frieza dialogue?
Yeah, Dark Frieza.
Yeah, so it's basically it's a down version of Frieza dialogue, and with a lot of henya. This.
I can't hear you. Perhaps if I let go. Fool!
No!
Are you sure we can't just pitch down Frieza dialogue?
Nope, and I can even tell you exactly why.
It'll destroy. Huh?
It destroys
Why
the
so blue,
drums,
lizard boy?
and the percussion gets so messed up when you try that
Really?
yeah, I try because it's too many semitones. But even if you tried one, it would still be noticeable.
Like what does it drop by 10% or
No, it's not a percentage. It's I mean, I'm sure it is, but it's I think it's 5 or 6 semitones. But it's enough that when you do it,
wrong way?
that part
That's
sounds fine. Go earlier where there's drums. You hear that the hi-hat?
Oh, it's not even low enough yet.
No, but the hi-hat is the biggest problem, and you
It's
get
alre-
layered.
I know
on
it's
top.
already like completely.
And you're not there yet.
But that's because of the speed, right?
That's but yeah, even if you
He
forget
can
the
go
speed,
down by.
yeah, but if you pitch the whole track down, it's still
Mhm.
gonna lower the hi-hat to the
Oh yeah,
improper
that's right.
pitch. That's the
That
problem.
is right.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
it.
try
It's 20%. Jesus.
Yeah, it's 5 semitones, or no more than I forget how many. I still think it's
4 semitones.
But
this is the right pitch, but yeah, it's so the audio's so stretched.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is
all Mike
definitely.
did was lower the MIDI, but he had the MIDI, so we got to make the MIDI.
Damn.
And not telling you it's not doable. It's just
A lot of work. A ridiculous amount of work.
I mean, I could either do this or I could play Super Mario RPG. So you tell me.
Bow, 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 bow. Get back to work, scallywags. No, hopefully this will be plenty of work. Which of you did you guys agree on which one of you guys are gonna do Chi-Chi bolts after Gohan?
It's in the thing.
Yeah, Joe.
It's me, yeah.
Okay. Did you have any idea how you're gonna fashion Earth music for that scene? Because I don't know. I described it as warm, and honestly, I was thinking a little bit of New Earth music in the Buu saga, but not that warm and tear jerking. Just very friendly. I don't know.
Warm, my normal go-tos are going to be like Dream Strings. Without the mod wheel, that tends to be like a nice, warm sound. Maybe even a little space voices, because I don't think there are too many Earth musics with space voices, if I'm not mistaken.
No, a lot of the early Earth music themes in the Frieza saga are kind of like constructed with a lot of the same sounds.
Yeah. Well, also Scott and Julius made fun of Mike for it.
Well, it's such a catchy tune. Who got the last laugh?
But yeah, I had a couple of I got to experiment with it. But I like Earth music, and it's such an easy thing to work with. And even the recreation is nice because when I was listening for liftoff preparation, I know the sound so well that it's like, oh, I know which piano that is. I know which this that is.
Oh yeah.
You kind of have a pretty good sense. Like, I mean, I'm sure Rakeem, you did too. As soon as you hear it, you're like, oh, I know either what this is for sure or about what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Doom 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 boom 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 boom. Yeah, I'm conflicted as to whether you want to do like a really warm version or if maybe we should like lean towards some of the instruments used in the Frieza saga, early Earth music themes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, you could use like the bass or something that's consistent with that too.
Sure. I mean, I trust whatever you're gonna write's gonna be absolutely perfect anyway.
It's be gorgeous. So no notes whatsoever.
Nothing.
It'll be like Ron Wasserman writing music for you.
Oh. Ba, 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 ha, 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 ha. Like Wasserman's weird ha chants for comedy music.
I have to wonder, do you think anybody that watched these things has picked up on the fact that like every time I do a that's a direct like here's my Ron Wasserman tribute?
They have to. There's no way.
Sure.
Especially for like Kaioken Choir, like stuff that's really on the nose. Oh, that's right. I was gonna mention because I mentioned Gohan on the Cliff, but I when I was digging through like the old episode albums for the where I keep like everything, I noticed Joe had already written a track called Gohan on the Cliff back in episode 8. So he was the original Gohan on the Cliff. Oh, maybe that's the embellishments.
That was just the embellishment.
Yeah, Gohan's on a
Didn't
lot
you just
of clips.
reuse that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I dig through a lot of the old episodes and try and find any neglected, unused tracks and say, oh, this could work here, etc.
You know which one I like, but I don't know if we'll ever reuse it, but it's the sad Earth music from episode 15, I think.
Oh, really?
There's like a really short one for a cut to Chi-Chi. I'm pretty sure it's in episode 15.
I remember that.
It's like a minor key version of it.
It's all right.
I like changing up the song. I think that's
it was too sad. It makes me cry every time. No, originally I really wanted to find another place to use your Dragon Ball Z Jungle Beat theme. And originally I was going to use that in the Search Continues when they're going through the forest, but the Land of Corn theme fits so much better, which is crazy.
That was written just because I wanted to make that particular track, and there happened to be a space for it to fit. And only because the one sound on the Alesis was like, oh, I know exactly what I want to do with this sound. I'll never find a use for it.
I loved when Joe sent like his first demo of that track, and I just thought, like, is this offensive? It's super lays into Native American drums and flutes. And it's great. It's a great track.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably exactly what they would use too.
I will point out, in my defense, it's not supposed to be offensive. Do you know what it's based on? Hold on. Have you ever played Star Fox Adventures?
No, I have not. I'm well aware of it though.
Okay. David Wise, I think it was David Wise, but whoever the composer was, that there's a lot of the percussion is from Star Fox Adventures or inspired by that. And so the rest of it was just written around that. Now, granted, there are some very distinct Native American things that I may have stolen. But characters, it's not supposed to be offensive.
No, it's perfect. It's a perfect little tune, but I remember that it made me laugh at first.
Now, it was complete coincidence that I actually accidentally released it the first day of November as a single.
They should have released. Did we make a joke about that? We had to.
We did.
We released it on Thanksgiving.
No, it wasn't Thanksgiving. It was like November 1st. It was like the first single of November that last year. It was like I didn't even think about the date or what I was doing.
I had to admit, yeah, I think I messaged you. I'm just like, oh, you just happened to release this on November, huh? I'm like, way to go, Joe.
Happy Thanksgiving, people.
You should have said that. Oh my god. That's brilliant. Well, now it's used in a scene completely unrelated with giant birds. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, we'll get through the filler together again. Much shorter filler saga this time. But it's a relief to work on low pressure episodes again, and you guys can have fun and be creative again before we finally get to the good stuff. Finally.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, for the Space Kids, stick to the Pigaro leitmotif. For Fake Namek, stick to the Arlian leitmotif.
Yep.
And have fun with space. Like, I can't wait to hear some of those space cards too. Like the almighty space instruments that I'm just salivating to hear.
The JD 800. You have a 900, right, Rakeem?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. It's like I said, we're not at Namek yet. So now is your chance. I mean, you'll also have a chance when Goku's in space, but now is your chance to really go wild with space sounds and outer space and sci-fi, and this is a tiny little window in Dragon Ball Z where we're on a space adventure. It's like Mario. It's like Mario Party 2. And you go to Spaceland.
Spaceland. I like that that's your reference instead of Mario Galaxy.
No, I don't. Mario Galaxy is a full orchestra soundtrack. I don't care about that.
Technically, no. Technically, half of it.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so that's exciting. Lean hard into space and have fun with it. I feel like I've cut enough cards to keep you guys busy for maybe a month at least. I'm pretty caught up. I'll have a few work things going on in December, but I will do my very best to put these episodes together, and then maybe by like late December or maybe early January we can start putting together a trailer. No direct deadlines, but we already have the Toonami intro already set up. I gotta redo the Frieza saga one too. I haven't worked on that in a while, but it's all coming together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know y'all have been waiting for Namek for so very long, and I want to thank you guys for your patience.
I'm glad we did it in order though, and didn't the inclination is to jump, but it worked a lot better.
Oh, it's so important to go in order. It's especially as like an editor too, like because you just have so much more of a library to build off of.
Mm-hmm. And you can feel the cohesion when you rewatch. Like I recently rewatched everything. In fact, last month when we were on the plane on the way back, I had nothing else to do, so I just pulled up my phone and watched the Vegeta battle. And I was like, "This is so good! Like, it's so good! Everything I've ever wanted."
I know it's so many. You know what episode I don't know. I don't know if it's one of my favorites. I really love the way lesson number 1 came out. And I don't think I cared that much for that episode before, honestly, but it's so, everything was like fucking clockwork. It was like payoff, and then but with a little bit of setup for the next episode. It's like, I know everyone loves Goku's arrival and Goku versus Vegeta. Unfortunately, lesson number 1's sitting in the middle there, but it's music-wise, so good about it.
Mm-hmm.
I find myself revisiting that one a lot when I listen to it.
I listen to that one, 29, 30, and 31 like frequently. 28 as well.
I listen when I listen to 30. I always listen to like the first like 3 or 4 minutes, right up until like right after Goku does his first Kaioken, because that's like my favorite. The whole like from the start, from the title card right up until like after they start fighting, like it's all like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very proud of that.
That one I'll listen to the beginning up until the end of the first track that area, and then I tend to skip to the end.
I don't know. Like in the middle, it's just Vegeta powers up, and I love Vegeta powers up
and the launch track. And it's like, all right, I like my launch track and any of them Vegeta.
And I love those tracks too, but it's not the part
I listen to everything from the Vegeta the battle one. What's the name of it? I'm sorry. The Freddy theme.
1-2 Vegeta's coming for you.
Yeah. Like that's where I always skip to, and then I just listen to the end of the episode from there.
And I know that wasn't probably what Rakeem was going for at all, but he happened to send his first demo right as Red Letter Media released like a Nightmare on Elm Street video that I was like watching all day, and then Rakim sends that, and I'm just like, oh, 1-2, Vegeta's coming for you.
Well, Rakim, did you know that you were indirectly at least referencing
Nope.
that you just happened?
Not even close.
I mean, if he was just using your evil Vegeta
Yeah,
melody.
you're the first thing that came to mind.
Oh, thank you.
Because he was like, he was saying it was either use yours, and it was either not use the Vegeta melody or use the original Vegeta melody only. It was something like that. And I was like,
yeah,
I can mix them together.
Yeah, I don't remember what the red card said exactly, but I just remember like I think I said, can you mix both of them together and make that work? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, really?
Well, it was designed to be able to be mixed together. Like that was the specific intent of that track and the way that track is structured. So when I heard you put it together, it's like, yes, this is what I pictured.
And that's why it works. You already wrote it to where it can fit.
Yes.
To where it makes sense.
Did I tell you the scene I intend to use as the final Evil Vegeta's swan song?
Which one?
It's hard to explain. I feel like I should probably just cut it now that I have my computer back, and I can just cut the scene. It will require a couple embellishments, but it is the scene when Vegeta is attacking the Namek village, and Krillin and Gohan and Dende are sensing it in the distance. And there is a 2-minute long scene exactly. And Evil Vegeta's theme fits in the first half when they recognize that it is Vegeta. It fits perfectly. And then it ends, and then there's like a 5-second gap where you can write a perfect little Blade Runner transition. And then there's a great little crossfade. It's not a cut, it's a crossfade on a close-up of Krillin where you can play Frieza's theme, and it's a direct reference to the Dark Prince Returns in the Buu Saga, where you play Frieza's theme, and in the Japanese version, the entire scene it's playing Frieza's theme or Dr. Wheelo's theme, and it's basically the exact same energy, but you have a little crossover transition straight from Evil Vegeta's theme into Frieza's theme to essentially like swan song it goodbye. And there was another reference I also wanted to make to that episode right before in the previous episode when Vegeta first lands in the village and then shoots one of the dudes with his bang gun.
Finger bang.
I wanted to end that the same way the Dark Prince Returns ends, with that Frieza theme, that Frieza horror, because I love that transition. Boom. Bada bo. It's perfect. But I haven't cut anything together. It was just ideas I wrote down, and I was like, oh, I hope they go for this. And you have to, because it. It'll probably be the last time I use Evil Vegeta's theme, because it's a thematic handing of the torch basically to Frieza's theme.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense.
You'll see, it'll work perfectly.
I can picture it already. And which episode approximately is that? Like it's pretty early, right? Like 49 or 50 or something.
It is episode 51. Vegeta has ball.
Yeah, okay.
You'll never.
It's this theme right here.
Yeah. Oh, wait till you hear what I'm making on that.
And throughout the whole scene, it's playing Frieza's theme, but it's roughly 2 minutes long. And yeah, first half will be Evil Vegeta's theme, and right around right here, it'll cut to Frieza's theme.
Stuck, because if we try to fly anywhere, he'll find us. I don't know if he's working with Frieza or not, but if either one of them gets their hands on all 7 Dragon Balls, we're gonna be in some serious trouble. I don't think anyone will be able to stand up to them.
It'll play its way through until Dende starts talking.
What are we
Oh no, it'll end
both
right here.
Damn it! I should have killed Vegeta when I had the chance.
And that's where it ends. and then we'll probably have a red card for Dende talking here. And I wanna also use a lot of try and see what themes I can kind of repurpose into different themes, like Nail Lets It Slip. I think that's a pretty good little melody that could easily be retranslated into something else, or I don't know.
Frieza meets Nail, or Nail meets Frieza, whatever it is.
I want to save that for when we actually meet Nail.
Oh no, but it's another one we could definitely reuse.
Oh yeah. I'm just like thinking Dende strictly for now. I mean I know that's the scene with Nail, but it feels very Dende-esque, that theme. You know what I mean?
I always pictured like a slower version of It's Up to Dende, like dun 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 dun.
That could work too.
You know, there's something I've been meaning to
I feel like Dende has a lot to work with.
He does.
He has like the best music. Yeah. It's so weird that Dende has like all the best music. Yeah, like this scene when Nail comes out and we meet Nail for the first time. This I want to feel exactly like when he comes out to meet Frieza. You know, a lot of the same dream strings and bells.
Hey, Nail. Am I ever glad to see you?
But maybe expand on it a little bit. You know what I mean?
This guy looks just like Piccolo.
It's good to see you again, Dende. You and your friend are most welcome. Guru has been expecting you for some time now.
Yeah, we're gonna reverse engineer Frieza approaches a lot for that episode. It's a very important episode. You know, we gotta. It's tricky. There's gonna be a lot of reverse engineering and thinking. So, any ideas you guys have for leitmotifs you want to kind of carry over, like, throw them on the table. Just throw them on the dartboard. We're not at these episodes yet, but the more ideas we have on the table, even if we don't end up using them, it's always good to just have it on the table.
Yeah, I had some Zarbon experiments I was working with just over the summer, messing around with different ideas.
Okay,
one actually does, in fact, come. I mined the episode 104 flashback again, and there's there's a tiny thing over Zarbon, and I had this idea of how I could expand it into like more of a theme, but I have to like play with it more. But it would work if you incorporate any little section of it, because then when it hits Zarbon in the image and it plays this thing, it's a callback to that.
Isn't it just a couple descending wind orc notes?
Yes, it's 4, if I'm not mistaken.
4 descending
wind orcs. But it's not about which notes it is. It's about the intervals between the notes. And if you keep the intervals the same, that's the trick, because then it becomes more of a theme. And so I could play it at different levels, and then Rakeem, back me up on this. That makes it more of a theme. Am I correct or am I crazy?
I mean, I see where you can go. I don't know where you're gonna go, but I see where you can go.
I'm mostly going to a pipe organ eventually. A pipe organ mixed with some afterburner guitar for when he turns into a monster.
But that'll be very unique. So
that's the one big thing that I think you could do to it, because everything else has sort of a pretty determined tone to it. But Zarbon, there is a way you could do it that's a little bit different, but still stays consistent with Namek.
Sorry, I'm just looking at like some of my notes for. Yeah, I wrote a lot of notes for the actual Namek saga.
Jeez.
That's like I said, this is why I put these rough cuts together so relatively quickly. Because, see, I have like 2 or 3 instances of Vegeta angry. I think this is like when he's facing when Kui's on his way to face Vegeta, but I'm not sure it'll work. There was another instance right in Hidden Power where that might also work too, when he shows up to face off Krillin. This is a great episode, by the way. Like, I love this episode.
This is
when he shows up and gives Krillin the finger. Like, it could work here too, maybe.
Well, 4-star Dragon Ball, the one I had hidden in the lake. And I know you've got it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is that so? Well, we'll just see about that.
You know, all this has to be 1 red card, right?
Yeah, this one.
Rakeem, are you gonna take this one? But with the Ginyu Force theme, you'll probably you'll hit like 5 hits, I guess. Climaxes on Captain Ginyu. Remix the Ginyu Force theme a little bit. But this should definitely be written to scene. Most definitely.
We had talked about this. The one that I wanted was I wanted the one 2 episodes prior where they actually take off from Frieza's base or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's a pretty good scene. That's a weird scene if you're watching the Japanese version.
I know, because I recently did watch it when I was looking at it.
Because it still sounds like a foreign language, but apparently he's talking in alien.
Yeah.
Because there's no subtitles, I'm just like, oh, that's not Japanese.
No, it's Frieza language.
It's Frieza language.
Yeah, remember when Frieza spoke
when he says, "Let's get down to business." Yeah. So weird.
His native tongue.
I want to thank you, Terry Klassen, for writing that line. Is it this one? No, it's 58.
Oh yeah, Devilish Ginyu Force. That's right. Yeah, this scene right here.
Side note: I really love this Kikuchi track. I think it's a really good track. Because those guitar chords.
Mm-hmm.
So all this is in alien language. It's not even in Japanese. What? Subtitles are on.
Sounds like it's French.
It does.
I don't know. No, I don't think it is, but there's a tone to it that makes me think it's French.
Yeah, it sounds a little French. So you got a pretty good idea in mind for this
Can I tell you? Yeah, I can tell you the idea. If you...
He starts talking Japanese there.
So imagine the track sort of revving up. So the first one of the early things you hear is just the synvox to go, and then you bring in the Sintin lead, and then like build it up like slowly, like you're building the Ginyu Force theme as you're going through. Oh yeah, I've had this. You know how you've had scenes in mind, or like the edits in mind for years. This is exactly what I've had in mind, literally since I was 10 or 12.
So should I just leave this entire scene blank and
I don't need a red card other than do your thing. I have a very specific idea for it. I promise it will work. It's awesome in my head.
I'm so excited to hear it.
Because by the end of it, you want the full Ginyu Force theme playing full beat, but you got to build to it as they anticipate.
Oh yeah, no. You can't unleash the full Ginyu Force theme yet.
Well, no, I don't mean that. I mean like you like build up. You're building toward that part of it when you get there.
But unmistakable, you'll know
like you know exactly where this is going, but it's the prelude to it. That's the concept. So engine revving, adding the instruments. You're trying to get there, but we're never going to get there in this one. We're getting there in Rekeem's.
Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be so good. Yeah, we'll figure out what to do here. I want to write a red card for this scene. Something crazy, like I said, something crazy and wild, similar to Vegeta powers up. Mod wheel that defense to make it sound like Vegeta powers up, but have it be its own thing. Man, even Brian Drummond outshines the Japanese voice actor.
That's probably the most famous Ocean dub scene.
Yeah, probably. He just nailed it. No one does it better than him. I could try adding echoes to Vegeta, but I really can't fix Sabbath's performance in that scene.
It wasn't better in Kai either.
Not really. It was a little bit better, but it really wasn't. It was still no Brian Drummond.
Yeah.
Whatever. He just isn't gonna try.
Well, that's the problem. Kai was trying, but by that point, you're too many cigarette packs in.
It was too late. Well, by that point, he was just kind of doing a different thing for Vegeta at that point.
That really is what it is. Yeah, that's not the original Z Vegeta.
No, and yeah, he's so inconsistent with his Vegeta. It's too bad.
Are they? I guess what?
I guess he's consistent now, but he's so inconsistent.
He's been very consistent basically since Kai.
Yeah. But he is consistent and he does fine, but I don't particularly care for that direction of Vegeta. My favorite Vegeta is late Android Buu Saga Vegeta. I think that is peak Sabbath Vegeta.
Well, what are they gonna do when they have to dub whatever the new series is called? Whatever.
Daima.
Daima.
Daimayo.
Oh, they're gonna pitch Vegeta up, and everybody's gonna be like, "Faulconer Re-Mix was ahead of its time."
We called it. We knew it. Everyone's gonna sound like that.
You're right, you're a baby.
Yeah, I don't know. Any other interesting recap? Unknown enemy Zarbon's mission. I remember I threw notes around for a lot of that. One idea I had, and I still don't know how I'm going to implement it. I think it's going to be during, if I can somehow fit it into the scene when Goku is on the upside down on the wire. He's in a nebula storm, and it fucks with his gravity. So he's at 100 times gravity, and he's stuck. But I had an idea where you would write the Kaioken theme, and then throughout the scene you would introduce the Super Saiyan theme piano, so the Kaioken theme starts to sound like the Super Saiyan theme, and you start taking some of the notes away, so it really sounds like the Super Saiyan theme, and then you kind of cut it out when he lands on the ground or something they'll cut it out, kind of basically telling you that the Kaioken theme is been the Super Saiyan theme in disguise all along. I don't know. And people start saying, hey, it sounded like the Super Saiyan theme.
I like the idea. You'd have to see how the execution is, but I like the concept.
Yeah, it's hard to pull off. It'd be like one of two times that we would tease the Super Saiyan theme.
I think one of us would be fully capable of pulling that off if anybody can. If it's doable, it's going to be one of us that could do it.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to find the right scene, the right circumstances to make it work. You can't force it, but if we could, it would be a nice way to phase out the Kaioken theme.
What did you put for when Goku blasts that sun while he's flying? He's outside the ship and glues his feet to the ship.
Pretty sure it's unexpected problem. Kaioken power up.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure that
time the guitar to the command.
I have tested that, and I know for sure it works.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I remember thinking to myself, I bet this would work there, and I just played it concurrent, and it almost times exact, too. Like, there's very little editing that you need to do to make it work for the guitar.
I put slow space training theme or Goku Second Coming, episode 33 at it. I can't remember why I put that there. So 50. This is like what I did a lot in my free time, was test out scenes with music and see how it plays.
Which is good to do.
Yeah, it's like playing like Happy Gohan music for a lot of Goku's training. I can do this.
At the risk of offending every Kikuchi fan ever, I can't watch this with that music for some of these scenes on Namek.
This is the wrong one. Yeah, I don't know. It works, but it would also mean one less scene to write space training music for. And you know, there's so many that you can work with. So we figure out what we want to do when we get there. I had a lot of ideas for space training music too. We can get to that. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot. I think I was excited when I wrote that.
Defying orders is like complete almost.
Just do that. I noticed that too.
Yeah, I think I had a lot of ideas. Well, right is true. Well, some of them were say right to scene, roll out the red carpet for horror Frieza, you know, tone transition to scene, you know, Important red card. So, on the surface, it kind of looks like right to scene.
I
Right
see.
to scene.
Got it.
Oh, no, it's definitely not complete. Nappa stops, episode 25. Really? I don't even remember. I don't even remember what that was for. Well, that's the fun part is I wrote a lot of these a couple months ago, and I forgot what each thing lines up to.
Isn't it weird seeing how few episodes we actually have left?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. When we actually get to Namek, then it's like make every episode count at that point, which is crazy.
Yeah, we'll fly through them.
I mean, it's like I said, the I know we want to get to Namek, but the fake Namek arc's gonna go faster than you think. It's only 8 episodes.
I want to use Scarlemane. Is that the name of it became?
Scarlemane? Oh yeah.
Yeah, Scarlemere.
Scarlemere, thank you. I want to use that at some point.
Nail's gift.
Yeah, well, I saw Guru's gift there, so that made me think of it. But yeah, I want to make sure we work that in somewhere.
We need to.
Yeah, I'm looking at the track list now. I just pulled it up. Just overall series track list. Thank you, by the way, Marcella, for going over this.
What going over what?
That ridiculous spreadsheet that I put together.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, I only got up as far as
it's like 131, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it took a lot of sittings and a lot of, but
well, I worked on this for over a year.
I did make quite a few corrections, but and I wouldn't trust a whole lot after episode like one. Would you say 130?
131, I think, is roughly where you cut off.
I remember because I marked it.
You have a bunch of X's or something.
Yeah, the Secret of Dr. Gero. That's where I stopped.
So, I mean, generally speaking, if it's released, well, if it's like one of the bigger tracks or the release tracks, my problem is like when you start have the Earth music motifs, which are hard to keep track of, and then some of the stuff with what's her name, Marin, that they reused a lot. I just couldn't remember what was what.
Yeah, there's a lot of miscellaneous Marin because I noticed there was one you missed, or I don't remember what you called it. It was in Our Hero Awakes shortly before the actual scene when Goku's awake. There's like a shake at Master Roshi's island, and Chi-Chi falls over and spills like a pot of water over Master Roshi. And you clearly didn't know where it was from, so you just called it like Chi-Chi wakes up Goku or something. I don't know. Chi-Chi in the kitchen. You called it something like that, but it was actually a Marin track from Garlic Jr.
Yeah, I did not remember that. And if you scroll down pretty far, there's a certain point, or actually if you just search the phrase upright, in fact, go to 192. That's where you start to see me kind of just throw my hands up in the air with every upright bass track.
Well, that's different because then it's like Hercule. It cuts to Hercule and it's like just nothing but upright bass. Like boom.
You passed it. See how I have a bunch of brackets there, and it says like upright bass track previously used. Upright bass track previously used. And then if you keep going further down, or if you just run a search for upright bass, there are 36 instances of tracks where I just had no 46. It keeps counting. There's so many where it's just like I don't know what these things are.
Hercule group reacts 1. Silly music, then slowed down to Wrestling Rock No Way.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's
that's because there's a Hercule group reacts too toward the bottom of that one.
It's like I don't know. A lot of the Cell Jr. music was just like written to scene for one episode. One particular episode they like put extra effort in was the Cell Jr. episode.
Well, Bruce wrote something in that too, right? He wrote the Cell Jr. theme.
Right, but there's a lot of like little Cell Jr. themes like written to scene in that episode. Like Gohan Angers. The first half of Gohan Angers when it's like the that's Cell Jr. music.
It is.
It's so like there's a lot of Cell Jr. music. That's why I think I love that episode in particular. It might be my favorite Cell Games episode musically, just because there's so much to scene, like clearly written for that episode in particular. It's weird. It's unusual. They stuck with the Cell Juniors and went full dove into the deep end. We're gonna write all this shit for Cell Juniors, even though they're only gonna be around for 3 episodes.
Yeah, Cell Junior's attack has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for sure new tracks, and those are long too.
Yeah, it's like they put more effort into the Cell Junior music than we did like repurposing the Cyberman theme.
Mhm.
Like the Cybermen were around for like 2 episodes, and I tried to use it as much as possible, but ultimately I didn't focus the whole episode around Cybermen. But it was different. It wasn't just constant fighting like it is in Cell Juniors.
Yeah. Scroll down really quick. I went Rakim to see what I did with episode 207.
207.
Fake Flight Vidal.
I like that episode. I love that episode actually.
I do too.
Flight Training is such a good track.
I agree with that. But there's a problem with that episode, which is that I just couldn't figure out what happened.
I'll bet you I could.
I'm sure you could. I was sort of waiting for you to look at it. I didn't know it so much. Like, there's a goofy
I'm still
thing.
70 episodes away from this.
No, I know. I know. But in general, this was just like, I have no clue. I don't know what half of the stuff at the end is. Like, I didn't remember Cheat Cheat and Videl was actually released until I was thinking about it. I was like, this sounds familiar. And I figured it out.
Icon's Thunder Tornado. If I remembered this episode better, I might know. 207.
Longer than the CD version, too. Allegedly.
That would be correct. I put lager because I was actually at work, so I wasn't drinking. But
you know what I hate the CD version for doing for Flight Training? Is they took out all the little springs, the bong bang in Flight Training.
Yeah, I guess those must have been added as an embellishment after the fact, because who wrote that one?
But they kept the embellishment in like every usage of the track. I don't think there's a version in the show that ever airs without those little springs.
I was actually considering eventually doing that one as a quote unquote clean cut and adding them back in and just like doing the episode version. I want to see who wrote Flight Training. Flight Training was that was Julius, yeah, that's what I thought. And that's why you would have it with that, because somebody probably added the little spring sounds after, like Mike, and then then they lifted it from the episode over and over.
Julius is like, you shit on, what'd you do to my track?
Or he did it himself.
He could have done it himself, that's true.
It's such a great little piece of music. Great track, Julius.
Why'd you do this? Now it sounds like John Williams wrote it.
Just like he did with Super Saiyan 3.
Yes.
Added a bunch of stuff in.
I'm amazed you
After he
referenced the
wrote the track.
DBZ theme and the Super Saiyan 3 theme. Because it feels like they hadn't used the DBZ theme for like 80 episodes at that point. It's crazy that he actually references it.
I was trying to assemble King of Demons. I was actually going to try and like put it up, and I could not get that all the reverb and rock. I called it rock paper scissors. I don't even know if if it's used elsewhere, but there's a track where they play rock paper scissors to decide who's going to fight.
Was that ever ripped by Quakev?
No. King of in fact, it skips that one. It's 220, and then this is 221, and then 222. And I looked at it and I said, oh, I could probably do this because a lot of it's even released. A lot of the episode.
I'm precarious about those tournament episodes because when that tournament announcer speaks, I see those echoes doing crazy things.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. There's actually only one unreleased track in that entire episode, and it's the one that you can't do.
That's funny.
Jazz, dark winds, and piano music. So it's like, do I really recreate this stupid track? Because I could put the whole episode together if I have that track. So then I just put it together and make it.
That's so typical. Yeah, that the one thing you want is impossible to rip.
Yeah.
It's like when I watch Approaching Destruction and then it starts playing Goku versus Ginyu. It's like, and I'm like, yes. And then it's playing Japanese music, and then Goku starts swinging Frieza around, so now there's wind flying everywhere. And I'm like, oh, this is impossible.
Hey, really quick, before I forget, do you have what's on your hard drive that you now have access to? Do you have the end of Goku versus Lava somewhere?
Like this? Oh, you want to release this as a clean cut?
Yeah, I wanted to release it. And I couldn't find that part in this format.
So I think the bulk of it is taken from an episode when Goku and Gohan are in the time chamber.
The time chamber, right.
And then it's looped, and then there's an added Alesis sound. I don't remember what it is. And then Dream Strings come in. Like, it's pretty authentic, and I'm pretty sure it's timed perfectly to the scene.
It is timed perfectly to the scene. I think I heard some Super Saiyan sound at the end of that. Am I correct, or did I mishear it?
Did you hear a Super Saiyan sound? Like a aura?
Yeah.
Go back.
Not there, a little further.
That?
Right there.
I have to listen with headphones. I don't hear it.
Can you send me that thing?
Sure.
Because otherwise, I think it's mostly complete.
Yeah, maybe you might have to take some tweaks to it. What's the difference between clean cut? Oh yeah, but I guess you're doing a clean cut. But I would personally consider the goofy sting. I don't know. What did I do on the spreadsheet? Did we agree to separate the goofy sting from Goku vs. Lava?
We went back and forth so many times.
Probably. Because obviously it was written as one thing.
You have it separated. Goofy Sting 1 and then Goku versus Lava.
Yep. So yeah, why not just make it two different?
I mean, I intended to release all the together.
Where did you get that absurd looking outfit?
I mean, isn't it better if he just releases it as one thing?
I'm for either. Oh, it's already on here.
I mean, it's clearly all one thing. That's the other thing. We know it was written as a single track.
I know. We know it is. But I don't know. Are we kind of actively choosing to separate it just because the Goofy Sting on its own is used separately
frequently,
way more often than Goku vs. Lava is. Can't really do clean cuts of Goofy Stings and silly tracks because they're often very short. Maybe
that's what I was saying. That's why he should include it.
Well, my plan was that I was going to do a single video with all the Frieza Saga Goofy Stings because there are only about 6 or 7 of them. I forget the number, but there's not that many. So I was going to just do that and then include the individual waves of each one, just because.
I always kind of wanted to do like a compilation of like a lot of silly music from the show, just kind of mold it into one, give names to each of them so people can identify them.
Yeah, and that's how I was trying to do that. People are gonna get mad at me when I do Gang versus Frieza, which is that short, just the thing that I partially recreated, but I'm not gonna include the yeah.
Yeah, I mean they couldn't even. I don't know if they couldn't bother to write actual action music. They just flipped to Goku versus Jason Birder.
Right, but
that being said, I really love that transition, especially when Super Saiyan Goku attacks Frieza.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the liquid stack transition, right?
Yeah. I love that transition, even though I thought in concept it was I wish they'd written more original music for that scene. Clearly, all the effort for that episode went to Vegeta Powers Up, which is fine because that's a classic track. It's a perfect track. But then the rest of the episode is very. What do we got? We're filling up time here. Frieza theme 2 for 3 minutes.
Well, and then Frieza's boast.
When you only got a week, that's
I know. I know.
Some of that.
I know.
But they wrote so much original music for Frieza's boast. all of it was Bulma music.
all of it was like Earth music and Bulma music.
It's literally all. That's it. There's no Frieza music or Goku.
Did I mention this, Rakeem, where when I was going through this track list, it was like there's a long stretch of like Goku vs. Frieza episodes where the only new music was cutaways to Earth and Bulma and filler, and there's like no new music for Goku vs. Frieza.
That's crazy, actually.
And I'm like, wow, they really like prioritize, because I guess they, as an editor, I can see it where you're like, okay, we can use this action track and it'll fit here, but I don't have anything for this weird scene of Yajirobe and Master Roshi putting on a spacesuit. like what do I put for this? I guess I got to write something new. Like, as an editor, I can see why that was prioritized, because you're like, what the hell do I put here? There's nothing. We have nothing for this.
Well, it's the same thing with Power of the Spirit. What is the majority of the new music? It's all the stuff that happens on the King Kai's planet with the Ginyu Force, except for the Spirit Bomb stuff at the very end.
Yeah. They were able, once the action got going, and I think they probably really loved that filler, because once the action got going, then they just like could reuse Ginyu Force music, and it's like, phew, easy. Get that out of the way. Oh, Bruce, you should have hired at least one extra man. Why did you have to wait 200 episodes to get Julius?
And then fire Scott.
And fire Scott. Ay, ay, ay. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah, it's crazy.
I got Goku Recovers on Friday. I'm releasing that one.
Yeah, I had a short little chat about how I don't know if there's any instances where that track is usable on the Namek saga. It's like I don't know, I tried it in a few scenes, but there's really none that kind of work.
Yeah, it's fine that it debuts there, because it's so specific to the fortune telling thing.
Yeah, it is. But you know, I love that track. I think it's a great track.
The only place I thought you might be able to use it is if there's some little moment of success, where you could use the second half of it. Dun, 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 like when they get a Dragon Ball or something. I can't picture a specific scene, but that's an area where I thought that half of it might be usable, and then it's almost like the new stuff with Dende and Bulma leads into that for that episode 103.
Yeah. So we're going to try and we're going to start phasing out the Kaioken theme. I'm going to use it here and there, of course, what we currently have existing. But as far as new Goku themes go, Goku Renewed is what we want to focus on, and maybe the, what do we call them, the intermission sections of Goku versus Jason Birder.
The verses. Instead of the chorus, the verse.
Yeah, the verses.
Go to church and read your hymnal. It'll have the verse section right there, and you'll always think, "Oh no, this is Goku versus Jason Birder."
Just start singing dun 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 dun. Beep boop boop beep boop. Ding boom boom. So yeah, I think we could try using those two. Any other Goku leitmotifs from early Namek that we should kind of focus on? Like, Goku doesn't do anything super heroic, but there might be a spot or two for the hero theme.
The hero theme possibly, and the other one was, but I just don't know if there's any use for it anywhere. That one from 73, the DBZ theme, the slow one.
The DBZ charge theme, the dun.
I think he means when they're like all three together. That one.
Speaking of which, do you know how hard that is to recreate? Do you have any clue?
Really?
It shouldn't be. It should not be. But it's ridiculously mixed. It's so, like, I have the sounds. I know what they are. It's not even a mystery. But I cannot get it.
Wow.
So frustrating. I've tried it so many. Yeah, I've tried it so many times. I intend to go back to it and just spend like a week working on it when I'm like in between while you're working on putting episodes together. If I have some downtime, I want to get that thing done. That's one of my favorites from that episode. And
that is a great little leitmotif.
I see Rakeem smiling because he knows what I'm talking about.
I do.
Like I have to crank the bass like way up.
That is a great idea. I like that. We should use that too, along with the DBZ theme. But you know,
Well, that's only used a couple of times, and like there's 2 other times I think.
Well, it's a great extension off the DBZ theme, like a slow kind of version.
Yeah. DBZ team up. That's what you call it.
Do we want to use that for Goku, or could that work more for Gohan and Krillin?
Gohan and Krillin. Well, I was gonna say more like a Gohan and Krillin, or if there's ever a point, I guess they don't really team up at all in 67 because they're kind of on the ground.
A legend revealed?
Yeah, well, I was trying to think of when Goku arrives. He arrives in 66 on the battlefield. He fights Recoome in 66.
Goku's new power, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think there's any like heroic team up theme there at all.
Right? No, not really. I mean, there's a lot of Goku music to be used. What's funny is I briefly looked at some of those episodes. I don't think I took like many notes at all for those episodes. I might have took like 1 or 2, but I looked over that episode and I just kept like scratching my head because it follows a lot of the same beats again of like ladder from what we've already seen. Goku arriving when he arrives to fight the Saiyans. Goku Frieza. Yeah, that's all I got. All I really got is the recap music. King Kai. Recap 6. Try to time the choir for Goku's base reveal. Recap 3. Try to copy the edit and yeah, this is really all I have. Oh yeah, I want to lean a little more harder into Goku's quote unquote Superman themes. The hero theme and Guru's theme, which make him just seem like Superman. Less so wacky, eccentric Goku, more I'm the savior of the universe Goku. That thematic transition is also very difficult, which is why we have to be very careful with how we handle Goku in the Namek saga. By the time we get to the Ginyu episodes and it's just like Goku like waiting to touch down on Namek, we should be like full blown like hero choir Goku. Snake Way Adventures, no more Goku. We're done with that.
Well, that goes back to episode 1. That's the reason for that little hero choir over Goku in the first shot.
It's interesting how Goku is handled musically, and I think it's interesting too because they dial back a little bit of Goku's like superheroisms a little bit in the Android saga. He kind of goes back to being goofy Goku a little bit, but a lot of his music is still like hero theme, and it doesn't quite line up with I think how the show is trying to portray Goku compared to the Frieza saga. You have to like strike a good balance between silly Goku and heroic Goku. So I think that's another leitmotif that I gotta find some good instances to use that though.
I'm looking forward to the one where Gohan punches Goku's hand in the hospital.
Oh yeah, that has some setups in its own right.
Yeah, I specifically wanted that because I love the idea you came up with for it.
Oh yeah. We came all this way and now it's like the start of their adventure. We're gonna use that same theme. Rakeem, did you take Gohan Anger's tease?
I did.
Yeah, I called it that. We don't necessarily have to tease Gohan Angers, but the thought like occurred to me.
It doesn't look like you need to.
No, it doesn't. You can subtly reference it. I don't know. You don't have to reference it, but the thought like occurred to me. And I was like, because I know Gohan Angers is much later down the road, and you really probably.
I was wondering why you named it that. I was like, it doesn't.
The way I pictured it in my head when I was writing the red card, because I didn't want to explicitly say use Gohan Anger's leitmotif, but I could see it like in my head a little bit when I was like, I think I was going to the gym a lot at the time, and I was listening to Gohan Angers a lot. And I was like, damn, this is such a great theme, and and I was going over the Namek Saga episodes, and I was like, wow, this could like work if you tease this here. So I don't know.
If anything, I wouldn't at least do the piano part. But
it's the same idea with his red card, where I just kind of said, don't just use space voices. Don't use any of the other actual instruments from Goku and Gohan Train. Just use space voices. It's kind of like same thing with Gohan Angers. Don't actually use the piano because the piano's too on the nose.
Yeah.
Well, and keep in mind that it adds to what I did with Gohan for a couple episodes in 27 and 28, I think. But I was trying to set that theme up a little bit. So Rage Masenko is very specifically Gohan Angers. The action part of it is the violin. It's ripped 1-to-1 for the violin for Gohan Angers.
It is.
You did not know that? Wait, you seriously didn't know that?
Doesn't sound like Does it sound like Gohan Angers to you, Rakeem?
That the violin part, yes, it does.
Yeah, it's exactly the violin part. Like
wait. Sing out the violin part for me.
That's the guitar. I put the violin on the guitar.
Because it's definitely there.
No one's gonna get that reference, Joe!
Listen to it. No. Pause now, you just heard it. Pause it and go back and listen to
Yes, no, I know. I've heard Rage Masenko a million times. I know how it goes in my brain.
That's exactly what it is.
I see it now. I see it now, yes.
I see it now.
And well, you know what? The build-up is Gohan's theme too. That's that whole track is a bunch of Gohan music slapped together. Like the beginning is dun 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 dun. But it doesn't play the last note. It goes up. It goes up. So instead of dun 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 dun, it goes dun 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 dun. That's the entire build-up is Gohan's theme without the final note. It just keeps the loop going without that note, so you never get the resolution. And then it blasts that on the guitar when Nappa's attacking him. That was the whole idea.
That's not Gohan's theme. That's the Time Chamber theme.
Shut up.
So awesome. I don't know. You don't have to tease Gohan Angers, but there's never going to be another scene for potential with that. I don't think.
Space voices.
And then we don't really ever have to ever tease it or allude to it again, because the rest of the Namek saga is just going to be like Gohan's theme and other happy Namek themes. So I don't know. I would say please try.
I'll
sure
try
it. Something. Just and it could be so subtle that I wouldn't even notice it, like Rage Masenko. And if I don't notice it, you can bet your ass no one else is going to notice it.
I was disappointed that nobody even commented. Like, not one person said, "Hey, isn't this that track?"
Nope, no one. Because you transformed it too much. It's its own thing, which I like. That's great.
I know, but I thought it was obvious. I thought it was hitting people over the head.
It's not obvious.
To me, it was obvious.
Thank you.
Not.
Just because if you listen to Gohan Angers, you'll know. Like, it's there immediately.
And you need to start. What lead guitar is that? Is that Angry Time?
No. Is it?
Let's see. What had happened was.
Isn't one of them the general MIDI guitar too? Like, isn't it a pair of guitars, or is that one just Angry Time?
It's just one, but it's definitely afterburned hard.
Oh,
I can't remember which it was, but hold on.
And you know what I mean when Gohan punches Goku. When I say hit that liquid stack, I mean, you know what I mean, where it's the
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, all right.
Oh, I fully understood exactly. I
understood the assignment. I figured you would.
What'd you say, Ricky?
I have to go to the actual project.
And if all you do is use space voices, you don't do the whatever that industrial sound is in Gohan in Goku Train. You don't use that industrial sound at all. The dum doo doo, boom boom doo doo. None of that.
We have that.
I have no idea.
I was asking. The thing is, I have so many things that I don't know how to access on the Kurzweil.
The first half of this episode is people aren't even going to watch the first half of this episode, so you could use the opportunity to really pay tribute to later moments in the series and set things up. Take advantage of every episode that you have. Like you said, there's only 30 some episodes left. Make each one count.
31 and a half.
31 and a half.
And a half, because half of a legend revealed is already done.
Yeah.
And by the way, we have to do History of Trunks at some point, because now I know how to make Android 17's theme. I spent a lot, like in the Super 17 theme, I spent so much time doing tutorials to try to figure out how Scott made the one specific sound he made, and I got it, and you could hear it in that track, but it took forever.
See, the thought of doing some DBZ movies has crossed my brain when I was deployed, because if we did that, I would want the whole movie to just be like red cards that you guys did. I wouldn't want to actually use any direct music from the show.
Even Garlic.
I don't know.
That's Dead Zone's the one I would do.
Well, yeah, no, you would make Garlic Jr.'s theme, but you wouldn't take Garlic Jr.'s theme from the show. You would make your own version of that exact theme and write it to scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if we ever did the movies, that would be the approach I would want it to be.
The one thing with that is there are certain scenes, like when he summons Shenron, you almost need to do Call It the Dragon and the Dragon theme. Like it fits.
Do your own version of it.
Okay, I guess you could do that. Then somebody's like, "This sucks. It's not as good as the actual track. Why don't you use the real one? Get a better editor."
I don't know. I just don't like using, because the thing about a lot of the Faulconer music is it's written to the pacing of the show, and the show's pacing is so much different than the movie pacing.
The movie that I think I would have the most fun doing is Return of Cooler 6. The Namek one.
Ugh.
I know, but
everything past movie 3 does not interest me.
Yeah, I know, but there's so much fun stuff. If you're trying to actually just compose music for a single movie, self-contained, and you're writing wall to wall, 45 minutes, whatever it is, that one has the most potential, because you can do so many cool themes and so references to stuff. Because it's basically all on new Namek, which is old Namek.
I guess so.
And you could do like a cool cooler, metal cooler. You could do like a cool metallic, like all these other new like industrial sounds. I don't know. I've had a lot of ideas for that one, because that was the one that first inspired me to be disappointed by Dragon Ball Z movies, because I bought the DVD on the premise that the ad that was on one of the singles, had Faulconer music over the preview for the movie.
Now, Cooler has come to Earth to take his revenge on the one who destroyed his family. Careful, Goku, because Cooler has a power that Frieza never knew. Featuring music from Disturbed, Drowning Pool, Deftones, and a host of other hot artists.
And I'm thinking, I can't do all this new There's none of it. It was the first Enza movie.
None of it.
It was such a lie.
Wow.
And then
such a lie.
I had so many, and I'm like watching it, it's like I could hear what it was, I could hear the potential, and it's not there.
Yeah. At what point did you realize the Dragon Ball Z movies were just copying what recently happened in the show?
Oh, this first one I watched.
The first one.
Well, it was Dead Zone, because Dead Zone was so obviously just Raditz over again.
Yeah, every single DBZ movie is just copying plot points and beats from what's currently happening in the show.
Except for Wrath of the Dragon. That's the only one that's unique. The last one.
Yeah, Wrath of the Dragon had a bit more creativity behind it, I guess, didn't it?
Yeah, but the Broly movies are basically, Broly's essentially Cell.
So bad. Well, BoJack is a better Cell than Broly is.
The BoJack movie is actually kind of, it's like dumb fun. Like this is so stupid, but it's fun.
Incredibly stupid.
There is a
track. They let Goku come back from the other world for that one.
Wasn't oh no, the BoJack movie was the one that opens with a tournament.
Yeah, BoJack has a tournament, and it's technically canon, or it could. It's the only one that actually could fit within the timeline. So it's not technically canon. I shouldn't say that, but
no, I'm sure it happened. Yes.
You know what I mean.
Goku died, and yeah,
Goku is dead. Trunks says he came back, and then he goes back again to the future. But
isn't it a plot point in the movie that Gohan can't turn Super Saiyan 2, or he's never turned Super Saiyan 2 before?
No,
Because eventually he does.
he does at the end over one of my favorite Menza tracks ever.
But like, doesn't he like not know how to do it throughout the movie?
I watched it once. The movie kind of sucked, but I had fun with it.
Oh, I remember because the first Cooler movie bothered me because like the first Cooler movie almost works, but the big problem is Goku doesn't know how to turn into a Super Saiyan in that movie. That movie's logic is Goku did it once. Could he possibly do it? Could he do it again? But like in the show, like he comes back to Earth and he just like immediately just casually transforms into a Super Saiyan. Did you guys forget that?
He needed some Disturbed to get him going.
Oh God.
Disturbed the drowning pool.
Oh God, that's why I hate the DBZ movies. All the localized music doesn't help. I don't know. Well, like I said, if we ever did the DBZ movies, that's the approach I'd want to go about them. Is just completely an hour of new music, basically.
I'd do the TV specials first. Those would be the things I'd hit.
Those are the ones people actually would want to watch.
Bardock. I think Bardock, there's a lot of fun potential for incorporating Saiyan Saga, like the choirs and stuff that we had, plus the Frieza music. Like it's kind of a catch-all for everything.
And it would play so differently against the 303 that we would use for Trunks in the Trunks special.
Yeah.
God, there's so much great Trunks music too.
Yeah. And we can use Trunks. That's the other thing. It's almost like rectifying a problem where they didn't get to use too many Trunks. You know, like the actual heroic Trunks theme doesn't get enough play. We could do so much cool stuff with that.
We can.
That's why that's a higher priority for me than the movies. I would love to do the Trunks one and Bardock too for the same concept.
Yeah, that would be fun. I would definitely be down to do those. Like I said, I wouldn't even mind doing the first 3 movies either because like they still suck, but World's Strongest and Tree of Might, they're pretty fun.
Tree of Might's good in particular. You get the Great Ape transformation in there. It's basically just the Saiyan battle over again, but
it is. It is basically the same battle, except the Spirit Bomb actually works.
What it is.
That's like the only difference.
How it works is the movies and Kid Buu.
Yeah, that's literally. You know what drives me insane is in World's Strongest. I don't know. Are we gonna pretend like the Saiyan battle never happened because nobody's dead? But then there's a scene where Gohan has a flashback of Piccolo saving him during the Saiyan battle. And I'm like, so that did happen. I could have ignored it if you didn't directly show it to me that it happened.
Earth 646 Piccolo saved me.
Yeah. Well, guys, I don't know. Any other ideas? No, nothing.
Not at the moment. Definitely have another draft tomorrow, I think, of the Angelic DBZ theme, and then once we kind of get that hammered down, I want to move over to lift-off preparations.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that too.
Real quick, do we use Where There's a Will at all for anything whatsoever?
Yes.
I saw that.
The Space Kids episode. I use it once there. I intend to use it again in the Namek saga when Gohan is burying the Namekians.
Okay.
Although, I don't know, maybe your sad and angelic choir thing. No, we should probably use Where There's a Will because
I wouldn't use sad angelic because it's specifically the DBZ theme.
Yeah.
You're putting over Nameks that are dead.
And, they're not DBZ characters.
Yeah.
No, but the Where There's a Will leans heavier into early DBZ.
That you have sadness factored in somewhere, I'm assuming.
You mean outside of 36, like in other scenes?
In the Namek saga, you're using that increasingly for.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I've used it. If I used it a whole lot.
There are a ton of instances where you'd need it, but I'd imagine it at least once or twice because it's a Namek track.
Yeah. No, I'm sure I'll find a spot. None are popping in my head at this moment. Yeah.
I don't think I can think of any either.
Like the saddest moment probably is when Gohan buries the Nameks, but I would prefer to use a little help from a friend when he initially goes there and when he buries them. Yeah, Where There's a Will works really well. But it doesn't have to be that. You just I think that scene is like right after the eye catcher, so you kind of have to start the scene that way. That's the difference between like uploading a clip onto YouTube and like actually scoring an entire episode is you have to kind of take the context of the scene into account for its previous and following scenes.
Yeah.
It's not just throw in whatever you want there. You got to score the whole episode, not just the part you like. You can't just get Goku Punch. You can't just do Goku Punch and Vegeta. You got to do Master Roshi talking about candles.
And Ox King ducking his head through a door.
Yeah, that was episode 5.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Sadness. Oh, obviously I'll find room for sadness. It has a. I wonder if maybe Goku's new power may have a spot for it. Who knows?
Just
it's so down the road. I don't want to think too far ahead. Even though I know I have a million notes, I have almost no notes for the Ginyu Force episodes because that will be way down the road.
Well, we'll be there before you know it.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So when we actually get to Namek, I want every episode to be its own mini masterpiece. No weak episodes, except maybe King Kai. That's a boring episode. Another chance to reuse old filler music.
This is what we've been looking forward to. I think we pretty good position to do something fun.
Yeah. It's gonna be so great. It's gonna be so great.
It will. Go up just a little tiny bit. I just want to see which episode this was.
What episode? What was? Oh,
wait, go down.
Those were just theme ideas.
Oh, just notes.
Oh yeah,
just
these are all just like ideas and notes.
Okay.
Why does that one say Fire Joe? That's offensive.
Fire. Well, that was the number 1 idea. Oh yeah, and I mean you're probably gonna nail it. The ambient space theme too. Like I said, I'm sure you have some idea on it. You heard my Metroid Fusion temp track. You're gonna nail it. I don't know why I'm bothered saying anything. You're 35 episodes tenured.
I listen to ambient music all the time. Like I seriously do.
Yeah, Metroid Fusion has a lot of ambient music, and that's why I searched to that for temp tracks.
Yeah.
A lot of good horror music too.
Yeah, with the SAX.
Yeah, or just like some of the environmental shock theme, like like when something bad happens. It kind of reminds me of Key Explosion a little bit, where it kind of has this like these high notes kind of flickering and in repetitive motion, sort of, but in a more panicky, like it's almost like a siren.
Yeah,
it's a really good horror track. Should use that as a temp track somewhere. Oh, I should use that as a temp track when the Fake Namek transform. Yeah. So many great ideas.
Ricky, get Metroid Fusion. Just do it now.
Get it.
Play it. It's got a lot of reading for a Game Boy Advance game, but you know what? It's fun.
Well, do you have a Switch, Ricky?
I sure do.
Okay, good. It's there. It's on the Switch Online. Just play it now.
It's such a ambient, beautiful horror game. Like such a great soundtrack. Oh, so good.
I'll listen to it. I believe in you guys. You wouldn't steer me wrong musically.
Never.
I know my game music.
Therefore, I will do it.
Didn't you mention like something about you discovered something with Sonic music, and it was like Joe and I were like, yeah, we knew that or something.
I remember that.
You made some comment about Sonic music.
You have to get in touch with the estate of Michael Jackson and tell him that they should free the good Sonic tracks from Sonic 3.
Yeah, best.
Knuckles.
Go, go, go. Yeah, they put like vocal samples, which probably were not Michael Jackson himself, but damn it, it's got his vibe all over it.
Well, if you play the Sonic collection now, they got rid of all the tracks he composed.
Yeah, I don't have that new collection, no.
Where's the Ice theme?
Oh, they got rid of that? Did they get rid of Launch Base Zone?
Yeah, everything that Michael Jackson composed, they got rid of.
That's too bad.
So
Carnival Night Zone?
I'm 90% sure Carnival Night was replaced. I only played it a little bit, and I know I've heard the soundtrack on YouTube, and it was like disappointing. So I wasn't motivated to actually finish the game.
Such a good soundtrack. Ugh.
How do you change a whole video game soundtrack?
Can I tell you? Do you know about this?
Hold
on. I don't know if you know this. DBZ, God, what were the Super Famicom ones? There's 3 of them.
Butoden?
Butoden, yeah, Super Butoden. So Super Butoden 2, that was released on, it's either on the Switch or on the Wii U. Or maybe on the Wii U.
They changed the soundtracks for those?
Completely.
Oh, did Yamamoto do?
Yep. So they went in and used the Super Famicom sound chip, and somebody composed all new music for.
Really?
One, yeah, they have brand new original soundtracks for 1 and 2.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Because I have. It's Super Butoden 1 is on the Switch, and Super Butoden 2 was either on the 3DS or the Wii U. But I have both of the digital versions, and yeah, completely different soundtracks. I think it's on the 3DS because it was with like the pre-order bonus for Fusions.
Wow, I didn't know. This is news to me. Is the music good?
No.
Oh. Wow.
I mean, I'm so accustomed to the original stuff, but honestly, it's not even like great Super Famicom music. It's like passable, but it's nothing special. But I really like some of the original themes that Yamamoto composed or stole.
Yeah, I guess if they can't prove it, yeah, they might as well just their idea is better safe than sorry. Swap out the whole soundtrack. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Budokai 1 was the same, if I'm not mistaken. It was either 1 or 3.
It's one of those. When Budokai 1 and 3 got ported to the PS3 and Xbox 360, they replaced it with music from Budokai Tenkaichi.
Yeah. I remember I was playing like Raging Blast 2, and it was I noticed immediately it was music from Budokai Tenkaichi 2 because I played the hell out of Budokai Tenkaichi 2 back in the day.
2 specifically is what they lift music from. Because I think 1 may still have been Yamamoto, and they don't use that one anymore.
I really like 2 soundtrack. It's got some really legitimately great.
It does.
It's like Dew or whatever it's called, Morning Dew. That's a really good track. Leaf of Seal. I edited a video to it. That was a great track.
One day I want to do one of those with the synths.
There's a few from those that I want to cover as well.
After you do Popeye the Sailor Man.
that one line describing your idea is like, yeah, I see it. Yes, okay. Fine, you win. You may have your stupid joke.
Oh man. Yeah, I never even talked about Musashi temp tracks. We'll talk more about that when we get Goku into space. You can't go wrong by copying Musashi. Find like whatever that brass is that they use in a lot of the Musashi tracks.
I have it. It's the same one that was used for Final Fantasy. Yeah, it's.
Can you use it?
What? No, I could. It's the.
I could.
Roland SC something. Sound whatever it's. I forget what it's saying. But yeah, Roland SC is what it is. That's the synth that was used for all the Final Fantasies and Musashi and a couple others of that era.
That brass and that harp and whatever that flute was, that's a good combination. If you wrote something like that and it sounded like a Musashi track, I would be like, perfect. That'd be my favorite track.
Yeah, I could easily make it sound like a Musashi track because it is the synthesizer. So.
But you throw in space voices, so it's still DBZ.
Right, that's the key.
I don't know, something about that brass though. It's like the most heroic sounding brass I've like ever heard in my life.
I don't know when it was first used in a game, but I know it's used for Final Fantasy VI, the one of the hero themes. And
is that for the PS1?
No, it's on the Super Famicom. But even through that sound chip, it really stood out. And then when you hear it again later with the PS1 CD quality stuff, it's even better.
Send me a link to a track that uses it. Yeah, I remember way back in episode 3, Joe took like a Chrono Trigger track and used that as his temp idea to write the military strategy theme, and I was like, damn. And it came out so good. Damn, that's still one of my favorites because it's so different.
Yeah, that's the main Chrono Trigger theme.
And you use different brass, different horns for it too. And it's every now and then we do want cohesion with Namek Saga, but every now and then I like a good different track like that just pops, something different about it. Has a different sound. Like I don't know. like Alice in Technoland. That's like one of the best. That's one of my favorite sounds that became introduced into the show that just didn't exist in the original show's run. And it's such a beautiful, perfect sound that fits right at home. It's different, but it pops. That's why I trust you guys.
love it.
That's why I trust you guys with your sound banks and your libraries. You guys know what the hell you're doing, you know. I'm just doing the legwork after you do the creative stuff.
Yeah, you do. You're the heart of it. It's your edit that makes it cohesive, make it work together.
Well,
No, the two of us are very talented, but we couldn't do it without you.
Shucks. But yes, the two of you are very, very
we would
talented.
just be sticking tracks in.
But
there's more work. So much work is involved.
A lot of planning and
a lot of sound effects.
Oh god. Oh yeah.
It gives me a headache.
It won't be so bad this time around, I'm sure. I'm pretty confident.
Pitching up people's voices.
Though that was a pain in the butt.
I know.
I might have to do that all over again. It's worth it. Vegeta got kicked in the nuts during the fight, so I'm gonna pitch him up an extra 10% for the rest of it, so he matches that Kakarot. I'll just progressively give him more and more helium. Did I ever mention you guys noticed Vegeta's voice in the second Zarbon episode, Gohan the Hunted? If you listen to Sabat's voice in that episode, they pitched it up.
Really?
Yeah. Listen closely. He's definitely pitched up in that episode.
The last Dragon Ball is finally in my possession. Now all that remains is calling forth the dragon. Then I'll make my wish for immortality and become the supreme ruler of the universe. And Frieza will die.
Given to him by Guru.
The last Dragon Ball is finally in my possession. Now all that remains is calling forth the dragon. Then I'll make my wish for immortality and become the supreme ruler of the universe. And Frieza will die.
I wonder why.
I actually have a theory on that, but I don't think.
I think they were originally gonna try and match it up with Ginyu Assault.
But they only do it one time, right?
Yeah, but then they just said forget it. They only did it one time and they just dropped the idea.
Somewhere around the time they would have been. There's the possibility he literally just had a cold that day and they had to do something to adjust it. But the other possibility is they hadn't yet decided what they were doing with season 3, because around that time was when they were canceling the singles and planning for the season sets. And somewhere along the line is when somebody said, let's redub season 3. And then that's when Sean said, no, I want to. And Sabat said, well, I do. And
I've said it before, it's like I hate how they redubbed season 3. I will argue Stephanie Nadolny and Lindy Young did really solid jobs redubbing their characters, because there's some lines where I didn't even remember. I didn't even realize it was a redub, because they sound the same. They do a good job maintaining consistency. Stephanie was solid.
You know who made me mad though that they changed, but there is a good reason for it, I believe. Dende.
Oh yeah,
the girl who plays Dende.
I prefer the
original.
Dende.
Something happened with her.
To the original voice actor.
But I think she did do all the lines, but they redubbed her anyway.
Really?
I didn't know that.
And then she does all the lines in like the Android Saga, and Cell. But it was something, I know she did the lines.
So they
didn't use the lines.
The Dende lines in Cell on the Blu-rays and the everything but the originals, are they all the original lines, or are they?
No, they're redubbed.
I never knew that. Clearly, you could see how much I paid attention, but that's not something I ever picked up on.
Well, I gotta rewatch the original Cell games episodes with Dende, and I assume it's the original. I don't know who either of the voice actors for Dende are.
The voice of Dende has changed.
Yeah, I don't know who either the old or the new one is.
Saley something is the original.
Yeah, there's a moment that annoys me. It's a fun little moment in the original dub when Piccolo arrives to fight Frieza, and then original Dende is like, I didn't know Piccolo was a Namek. Go green! And then they do a little smoky room charge. And then in the redub, they took out the funny line, so it didn't make any sense. So it was just like, "Whoa, Piccolo's a Namek? This is incredible!" And you're like, "What?" They just didn't care.
They don't. Clearly, they don't. If you lost a whole music's track, I mean, yeah, a whole track's
whole episodes,
yeah,
music.
You really don't care. No,
you don't care.
You know what did surprise me though was the dialogue between Goku and Krillin is entirely different in the remastered versus original, but they still kept it kind of funny because there's cartooning when Goku's like walking up to Frieza and he's like, it's playing the hero theme and they add some cartooning notes. But the dialogue's completely different in both. In like the remastered version, he's like, "You're the man, Goku. Watch out for that tail." And it's kind of funny enough, but like in the original dub, he's like, "We'll go out to lunch later. My treat." It's just I thought it was interesting how they redubbed it and changed all the dialogue, but they still kept it.
Uh-oh, everyone froze. Oh, he's back.
Welcome back from Otherworld.
You didn't. Not everybody didn't freeze. Just you, dude.
It was. And why did everyone freeze?
We didn't. Raheem and I are like moving back.
Everyone just stopped talking. Raheem, just stop talking right now.
All right, Raheem, 1, 2, 3.
What happened, guys? You know what's funny is you're still frozen over on the other computer, and there's just this weird shot of Joe mugging me right now.
Your other computer says no signal, like the whole time. Was that supposed to be that way?
I don't know.
I guess it didn't really matter, but
well, there's no webcam on the other computer.
I see.
So I'm just like screen sharing it, and I have two computers set up, dual monitoring it.
I see.
I had one last thing I want to ask Marcelo before I go to bed because I'm like right there at that cusp. At some point, when you're done with the edits you're working on, can you put together the most comprehensive version of the hero theme, leaving blank the part that needs to be recreated? Like,
I think I already have it somewhere. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that. You plan on remaking that?
Yeah, I wanted to remake that because I know there's just that one little section. Plus, I guess the end needs. Yeah, that's something I wanted.
I can see that being a clean cut. Yeah.
I figure we could use it at some point too. So.
Yeah, when we want to put together episode 80 and re-release that.
Yeah. That I'm so close on Krillin. I'm so close, but I can't get the EQ correct.
And yeah, I'd love to re-release that like perfectly remade. Yeah, I know you are so close. I know, and I'm very strict on checking that too.
I put it down for 6 months now. I do want to get back to it, but I had to put it down because it was driving me crazy.
Yeah, I remember you kept sending me revisions when I was trying to work on the interview, and I had so much to do with the interview. That interview was a monster. But I was like I just wanted to be left alone and work on that.
I kind of gathered that eventually. But I was also getting tired of it. It's like, is this right? No. And then, well, what would happen is I'd send it and then I'd listen back outside of Reaper and I'd be like, no, that's not right. Try it again. Try it again.
Well, because at the time I was also driving back and forth a lot between Indiana and Ohio, and I was literally taking my whole computer and putting it in a giant Pelican case and taking it to the room they had me staying at so I could work on it in what little free time I had. And then I had Joe here. I was like, can you check this version again? Can you check this version again? I'm like, I appreciate what you're doing, but I really need to work on this.
One day after episode 67 and whatever else, you may have a life. Until then, you may not.
Yes. Don't worry, I got everything planned out. All going to come together nicely.
Yeah, I said the same thing. It did not. But...
No, it didn't happen. Nope. And then all 67 episodes will be on the internet forever.
Probably.
Maybe people will care more when we have 67 episodes.
It's growing enough.
It is, slowly.
I mean, even Super 17 got a ton of views pretty fast.
Yeah, that's weird. People still love GT.
People like that.
Yeah.
No, I know nobody remembers he had a theme, but he did, and it was a good 5 notes.
I'm surprised by how many GT fans there are because I'm not one of them.
There are a lot of people. You know what it is? I personally, self-aggrandizing, I know, but I think that track is better than the actual track. But
oh, really? Yeah.
But what you're listening,
you're setting the bar awfully low, Joe.
But here's the thing: what you're listening to is kind of what you remember as, oh yeah, I liked that song. You're not going to go back and listen to the original. You're just like, I liked this thing, and you don't have a frame of reference because you haven't watched it in 20 years. That the actual track is kind of just droning. So when you start incorporating Android 17 music in with this other thing,
it's refreshing and it adds so much more to it.
Right.
It's like I'll admit I've listened to your Super 17 track a few times, and I have had zero desire to actually pull up the original verse theme.
And if you ever watch, in fact, you should at some point just watch that particular scene. There is so much less emotion in the original than what I put into it.
Ding, 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 ding.
No, I'm talking
it's
about
just
the part
over and
after Krillin gets shot, and then the emotional thing with 18, the drum just keeps going. Dun, 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 dun. It's like Menzen didn't know when to cut it, and it just drones through the entire scene. And it just saps it. Like every beat is this like emotion is pulling it out of the scene and plays the elevator music.
Dun, 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 dun.
No, that's not how it goes. It goes dun, 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 dun.
Well, that's your version.
The original energy too.
So lame.
I used to love GT.
Get to the Grand Tour.
I think I want to say like halfway through GT, not even, some point early on in GT, I'm like, something's wrong. This isn't as good.
I couldn't rescore the show though. That's the thing. That's the one where you have to cherry pick.
I wouldn't even,
that first season is like
I wouldn't even want
almost like its own thing.
It's rough.
If I got paid to do it, paid well to do it, would I ever want to rescore GT?
I would do it as a gig, but not actually like just for fun. Because and that's the problem. It's the same problem with Super when people say, "Oh, score Super." No, I'm not passionate about it. I'm not passionate about GT. I'm passionate about certain songs and certain scenes, and that's the ones you see me do. Like I do. I know you hate it, but I do like Super 17. I do like Omega Shenron, Sin Shenron, and a few others. But I actually have a really good, if you post this, by the way, you have to not post this for a while or edit this out. I have a really good version of That's What Everybody Remembers. And they use,
you know what, the only theme I remember is Nathan Johnson's Gogeta theme.
I want to do that one as well at some point.
Yeah, that one's all right.
Yeah, that one's good. That's like one of the best Nathan Johnson tracks, period.
One of the only good ones, yeah. I think his Goku Training in Space theme is okay. He definitely got better by the end of his Z run, but it was a little too late.
Yeah.
It's like a low end worse Faulconer track.
The Zarbon stuff is decent too.
Because you know what
I like the one with Krillin versus the Cybermen.
I don't remember.
I think Krillin versus the Cybermen. Right after Yamcha's death is one of my favorite.
I have to pull up the scene.
No, wait. Who did you say? The composer? Who did you say?
Nathan Johnson.
Okay, yeah.
Not Mark Menza.
Yeah, it's Krillin versus the Cybermen for sure has one of my favorite Johnson tracks.
I'd have to pull that up.
Yeah, you'd have to pull it up.
You know,
sure.
the thing is like when they go into space, he starts actually using more spacey and interesting instruments, and I think that helps the score a lot. There's a lot of synth sweeps, and that captures my interest. So I think that's why I give Nathan Johnson a little more benefit of the doubt in the Namek saga. And everyone likes the Zarbon theme. I think it's okay. It actually has a melody, and you can actually remember it, which that's
what
makes it stand out amongst the rest of his.
Yeah,
score.
like it's like this guy's capable. And then after he scored DBZ, he went on to practice law, and he was doing it wrong.
Maybe Joe's like, he can't even do that right either.
I wouldn't know.
But yeah, all these guys are capable, really.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just give
But
him.
when Mike did this, he was just
well,
I guess his second run, if you will.
Hold on a sec.
Yeah, with Mensa, I feel that he has a lot of really good ideas poorly executed. I think that's how I would describe a lot of GT's soundtrack. Great concepts, did not execute a lot of them well. But
I don't even know if I'd agree with that because then I listened to the Japanese soundtrack to GT, and I think the Japanese soundtrack to GT is incomparably better.
Absolutely. But if you're gonna do something, he had the makings of what could have been a quality product.
I don't know. He's just doing what Funimation.
I
told
agree.
him.
But even if he had themes eventually, and he was sort of like kind of it's sort of like Nathan Johnson, where by the end he was sort of getting to the point where the Faulconer guys were the whole time. It's just the problem was it was too little too late, and his whole concept was still going with like the hip hop drum beat stuff consistently throughout every episode. Like I don't even know if he stopped it once. That's an exaggeration, but
I just think the direction of Funimation's GT was flawed from the very beginning, down to like the way it's written and the way it's executed. You can't even just say the music. I think it's flawed from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Because I laugh to myself every time the narrator goes on the next GT. And it's trying so hard to be cool, and you can't fix that without redubbing the entire show. So
I just love the fact that it was dubbed shortly after they were starting working on, or maybe halfway through Yu Yu Hakusho, which at that point was like their best, most accurate dub they'd ever done. And it's like, you people know how to do this. What are you doing?
Yeah, and it's a lot of the writing too. Like they crank Goku's superhero Superman dialogue up to not even 11, up to 12. Where like his dialogue in the Japanese version will be like, "That was a powerful punch, but I'm much stronger than you now, baby." Where in like the English dub will be like, "You can only see the light through the cracks in the door. And when you help others, you learn that is the way to live." Like his dialogue is so, it doesn't sound like Goku. It sounds like
your Super Saiyan 4 Goku dialogue that you just did is basically Christian Bale Batman.
Yeah, I
absolutely.
It's the way he talks. I don't know. It's like, all you know how to do is hurt others. You never learn to love.
You never learn to love.
Like that's what like GT Goku's dialogue is like. I'm just
I'm gonna show you the light, baby.
Nice. That pitch down voice is everything.
Yeah, Sean Schemmel doing a sexy voice and saying "baby" all the time. I do love one line in the Cell games when Goku shows up to pick up Chi-Chi at Master Roshi, and he just goes, "Babe, you crack me up." I love that line from Goku. It feels so out of left field for Goku. It's a great line. Great show, but not GT.
Sadly. I agree.
I am not a GT apologist. I am not a fan of the show.
Well, it is only 1 a.m. I think I have to go to work today. So
I think.
Today.
Yeah, I think I have to work in about 4 hours.
That's right. I'm an hour behind you. Sorry about that. I forgot. I saw the clock. It said 7, and I'm like, I still got an hour.
It's all right.
Alrighty.
And I also have work, so.
Well, sorry.
It's okay. I go to bed at like 4 anyway.
That's normal.
Good catching up. Look forward to some awesome Namek music.
I am too. Very excited.
All right. Go green.
Go.